Big Sills here. By the way, we've been working on the audio of the show, so obviously we're going to have to power through this for one last day here, and we will have this bad puppy fixed, but we welcome you aboard. Thank you very much. How about this, man? We are 4 days out from the Los Angeles Chargers showing up to training camp. 4.5 days to the start of the NFL, 14 days until the Eagles start. Guys, unbelievable. The NFL season is right around the corner. By the way, I don't know if Big Z saw this because we've been working on the audio of the program. And Barrett Media picked up our interview with Howard Eskin yesterday. And we were talking about the state of sports talk radio. And they picked it up. Did you see that, Big Z? Absolutely awesome. Okay? I mean, tremendous. And we thank you. Howard laid it out for us. This is what you get here on the program. By the way, Gary Cobb at 4:30. He's got some teams that could potentially battle the Eagles in quest of another NFC championship. So we will talk with him. We will get your thoughts. By the way, do me a favor. Please, all likes, hit it. I found out 50% of the people that watch the show have not subscribed even. Just hit subscribe. Hit the like button. We appreciate it because football season is here. There'll be no other show that you guys will want to go to during the football season. As you know, we get the biggest guests and the biggest names in sports. Okay? And you guys have been the beneficiary of it, as I have. We're all in this together here. And we appreciate it. Already out of the gate, Jalen Hurts this is not his record. That's not his record. That's the team's record. It's not his record. It's not his record. It's the team's record. I'm going to make you guys, you know what I was going to do? I was going to wait. I'm going to show you how pathetic that take is. Watch this here. I wrote this down. By the way, please hit the like button. Let me show you how pathetic this take is. Okay? So let's go here. Here we go. Show you how pathetic his take is. Giving a record. So the All-NFL, All-Century team the last 25 years just came out. And here are the players. Let's see how many Super Bowls players have won that have been named to this team. By the way, Kyle, thank you. Sills, I just looked up that Penguins players, Evgeny Malkin, Crosby, and Fleury were all drafted by Craig Patrick, USA hockey coach. Absolutely. He was the assistant to Brooks in that 1980 team. Absolutely. So let's find out here. How many people have won Super Bowls that are on the All-Century team? Let's take a look at that. Brady, of course. Tremendous. LaDainian Tomlinson, no rings. Randy Moss, no rings. Harrison, a ring. Larry Fitzgerald, no rings. Offensive line. Joe Thomas, Cleveland, no rings. Alan Faneca, ring. Kelsey, ring. Right guard, Zach Martin, no ring. Lane Johnson, ring. Tony Gonzalez, no ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 11 players that were named to the All-Century team don't have Super Bowl rings or haven't even been to the game. Your point on a Super Bowl does not validate a career. Half the roster, half of the roster, never been in the game. Shit, I'm not even sure Joe Thomas has had a winning season. Get this. Stats. Once again, dickbag. Accomplishments. Only a dude sitting in the stands in Canada would look at accomplishments as so frivolous. I don't know what you're talking about. Accomplishing things in the NFL is a big thing, dude. It's stupid. Because you won a Super Bowl doesn't make you a better player than the next guy. Not happening. It's not the truth. It is totally not the truth. Zero truth to it. So let me ask you this. Is Ryan Howard a better player than Barry Bonds because he won a ring? Is he a better baseball player than Barry Bonds? I find this argument so beneath me. Really is. This argument is beneath me. It's beneath me. This argument is beneath me. Okay? Completely beneath me. Once again, LJ, thank you very much for starting the show off. You can go sit in your corner now for the next 4 hours, posting away. Hit the like button. We appreciate you guys very much. Thank you. Absolutely phenomenal. By the way, Gary Cobb at 4:30. Boatload of people are going to start jumping aboard the program as we're getting ready for football season. And we so appreciate you guys once again coming in here as we get ready for that football season. Gary's got some observations on some teams he thinks can end up beating the Philadelphia Eagles, or at least challenging them for the NFC Championship. So we'll do that. That'll be at 4:30. Xander will join us at 3:30. Here's my boy Kyle. It's like saying Trent Dilfer's a better player than Barry Sanders because he has a ring. It's fucking stupid. Who would say that? I mean, or this. Trent Dilfer's better and Brad Johnson's better than Dan Marino because he won. Or that Joe Flacco is a better player. It's asinine. Just use your brains. Most people in here, no, 20% of the people in here can't use their brains. It's impossible. Because they have one view. Well, if I win a ring, that means that Jahan Dotson's a better football player than DK Metcalf. Because you won a ring. Hey, man. Unbelievable. All right. So PFF came out with the best offensive line in pro football. And I love this. And I want to make a point to you about Jeff Stoutland here. I heard Xander on Birds 365 asked one of the most important questions. Is Jeff Stoutland the greatest offensive line coach in pro football history? Okay? Is he the greatest coach in pro football history? I think the fact that the Philadelphia Eagles are sitting on top is not a shocker, but the other teams are. And you're going to take on the majority of these teams with a new-looking front four. You're replacing two of the front four. So, I mean, it's a brand-new defensive front. The Denver Broncos, you're playing them, have the second-best O-line. The Buffalo Bills, shocked, the third best. Okay, you're playing them. Chicago, you're playing them, are 4. Indianapolis is 5th. Get this, see this here? How can you be the second best D line when you lost 2 off your front 4? How is that possible? You know, there are 4 guys that play in the front 4. You understand that, don't you? It's a bullshit list. I happen to agree with this one, though. Okay? Tampa Bay is number 6. Number 7 is Minnesota. Number 8 is Atlanta. Number 9 are the Jets. And 10 are the Chargers. You're playing a boatload of these games. Okay? Boatload of these games are going to be against this offensive line. This is going to be interesting. You're playing one of the better schedules, the 4th most difficult schedule in the NFL. And you're now playing some pretty good O-lines. O-lines win. D-lines are overrated. Obviously, ask the Eagles. They shit can half their O-line and half their secondary. They think defense is a luxury. Sills, that 89 Chiefs staff was good. They had Coward, Dungy, Mudd, and Arians. Who else did they have on? They had Herm Edwards, too. I believe Herm Edwards was on that coaching staff, too. Okay, I do. I believe he was. Kyle is a weirdo. Who would even compare Trent to Barry Sanders? Exactly. Who would compare anybody with a ring over somebody with not a ring? Is ridiculous, you mean. Somebody with a ring versus somebody else with a ring is stupid. Who's a better player? That's all you need to know. Having a ring does not dictate who's a better player. It has nothing to do with who's a better player. If you were a tennis player or a golfer, it matters. Or a boxer, it matters. When you play a team sport, it doesn't matter. It just does not matter. JAKIB Sports and Sills, with the season right around the corner, can we get former players, Sills, they know to come on the show the Wednesday before we play? Yes, yeah, we can do that. But, I just have to be reminded. Okay? Get this. This is a fair question. Then why do debates in sports happen like MJ versus LeBron with rings? I don't need rings to tell you who the better player is. Because if the argument is that, Bill Russell would be number 1. How come, bro? If you're going to have a debate on rings, it's over. It's Russell. No? Combined, those guys don't have more rings than Bill Russell. How come he's not in the combo? I mean, senor, if you're going to go by rings, it's Russell. And there's no debate. Right? I don't think anybody would say Bill Russell's the greatest player in the history of the NBA. Correct? I mean, Bill Russell's got more rings. It's stupid. Okay? I mean, then why is I don't need a debate to watch Michael Jordan play against LeBron. LeBron's a great basketball player. I've never dismissed it. I'm not Skip. I think what he's done has been remarkable. I think he's the greatest longevity player of all time. I mean, he is 26, 7, and 8, whatever it is that he had last year, 24 points a year ago at 40 is remarkable. It's absolutely remarkable. He's just not better than Jordan. As a matter of fact, I don't think LeBron is better than Kobe. If I had to pick one guy to win a 48-minute basketball game between Kobe Bryant and LeBron, who are you taking? Who would you take if you had to pick between two dudes, Kobe Bryant or LeBron, to win a 48-minute NBA game? Who would you take? I'm taking Kobe. Wait a minute. LeBron's the all-time leading scorer. I know. LeBron has got more this and more that than Kobe. I know. Well, I'm taking Kobe. That's what you do with football. All you do is just use your eyes. Who's a better player? Who does more for his team? Who's there when it matters? All of that. Absolutely. That argument is flawed. Because really, if you want to know, and if you're going to go by the word stats, it'd be Will. It would be Wilt Chamberlain. Okay? So I heard Xander say something. It was a great question. How many people believe that Jeff Stoutland is the greatest offensive line coach in pro football? By the way, I want to make a point to you, one thing on this PFF rating. I don't believe that the second closest offensive line to the Eagles is I don't think Denver's close. I don't believe they're close. I think it's the Eagles and then everybody else over here. I don't particularly think it's close. Okay, it's Philly, and then how about this? The roster has gotten closer to the rest of the league. I'm not saying they passed you. Okay? I am not. But you took steps back because you lost talented people from a Super Bowl. When you lose people from a talented Super Bowl starting rotation, starting roster, you took a step back because you didn't add anybody that's equal to them. You can't make the comment today, well, this guy will replace. You can't without this. I don't know. That in itself is already doubt. They may do that. But you can't answer that definitively when you've lost 5 starters off your starting rotation and your starting lineup in the Super Bowl. You can't. I can't say they're not going to. Okay? I can't. You can't either say, well, they're replaceable. No, you can't. No much so that I can say that they're not going to fulfill it. Today, you have 5 question marks with 5 brand new starters. That's it. So you move the chains back. Move the chains back. Okay? But you're not, and no one has passed you. But that old line, the gap, is leaps and bounds. Even with the loss of Becton. I'm going to hit on Becton here in a minute. Because I'm going to ask you one factor about Mekhi Becton here. And we're his loss. We're going to do this here. Xander asked one of the most important questions. How is Jeff Stoutland? Where is he in history? I will name you the greatest offensive line coaches in pro football history. I'm going to put them in order here. Who in the world is better than Dante Scarnecchia? Who's better than Dante Scarnecchia? Guy's got 5 rings with all brand new old linemen. They never had the same old linemen in New England. Never. Is your distrust of our upcoming defensive line an indication in your faith in Clint Hurt to develop them? We've done this multiple times. Why not now? You didn't do it in 23. And you surely didn't do it in 22. And you didn't do it in 21. Your Super Bowl team gave up 16. You were 16th in rush defense. You were horrific in 23. You were good because you were in the top 10 this last year. I'm not telling you that Clint Hurt is not going to do it. I'm telling you, I don't know. That's a fair statement. Either way, I don't know. Dude, you may do it. Me? I'm a resume guy. Let me see what you do. Let me see how they play. Will you have the same chemistry? I don't know. You're basically, you gutted half the starting lineup from the Super Bowl. I don't know. Listen, I'm not going to quantify to make you guys feel better about yourselves. Either take it or not. I quite frankly don't care. Is there any O-lineman, coach, in the history of the NFL better than Dante Scarnecchia? The answer is absolutely not. Have you ever heard of Bob McKintrick? How many people in here have heard of Bob McKintrick? Anybody? Do you know who he is? Do you know who Bob McKintrick is? Anybody? I didn't think so. Because when you throw the greatest of all time, Big Seals is here to help you, not hurt you. Does anybody know the name McKintrick? He was the O-line coach for the San Francisco 49ers that won 5 Super Bowls. Anybody ever heard of him? No, I didn't think so. He was the offensive line coach under Seifert and also under Bill Walsh that won 5 Super Bowls. Okay. So he's on this list. Jeff Stoutland is on my list. Howard Mudd is on my list. Joe Bugle, the architect of the Hogs, is on this list. And Alex Gibbs, the man who created the zone offensive line blocking scheme, which you run. You run zone blocking. Who do you think developed that? It was Alex Gibbs. He developed that. Now, let me give you a little bit on Jeff Stoutland, where I think he fits in as the greatest O-line coach. Here's the pluses that he has that are massive. In a league that has massive free agency and finding offensive line in today's college game and in today's NFL is insane because you do not practice like you did back in the day. When you had 3-4 months of training camp to find and refine. Remember, back in the day, you were able to find and refine because of the amount of practice time that was unlimited. You got a chance to work technique. You got a chance to do all the things looking for that respected offensive line. There is no doubt about it. Okay? This is not a true statement. It is not true. Bob McKintrick won 5 Super Bowls with not one guy making the Hall of Fame. Explain that to me. Dante Scarnecchia won 5 Super Bowls with not one guy going to Canton. They did more with less. Explain that to me. How is that possible? Not one guy. Okay? Not one guy. Okay? Not one dude will be in Canton with both McKittrick and also Skarnacki. Not one guy. How's that possible? They won 10 Super Bowls. I mean, here's where Stoutland is sensational. And his development of players is exceptional. And he's got a great routine. As we told Chris Hinton when he was on the show, getting his son ready to play here in Philly, is that man coaches the Hinton kid like he'll coach Lane. That's unheard of. But you want to hear something else? Alex Gibb, McKittrick, and Skarnacki all coach the same way. All coach the same way. Joe Moore is a great name. He was the developer of the Pitt Panthers. He ended up going to Notre Dame. And you talk about the Bill Fralics of the world, the Jimbo Colberts, the Russ Grimms. He was the architect of those great Pitt teams and put a mountain, Mark May, he put a mountain of guys into the National Football League. He was a spectacular. As a matter of fact, the Moore Award is given to the best blocking offensive line in college football, excuse me. Okay? Tremendous. Okay? Dante Skarnecki, in the last 25 years, has won 5 Super Bowls. 5. Here's Jeff Stoutland taking a 7th rounder, taking the 5th pick, taking a 2nd rounder, another 2nd rounder, and the revolving right guard door, and developing the best group year in and year out. For how many years has he been here? Since Chip Kelly brought him here from the University of Miami. How many years has he been here? Jeff Stoutland. He's the best in the game right now. Okay? He's the best. Okay? The best. Well, let me ask you this. What do you gauge coaches in? What will you gauge coaches on? Wins and losses? No. They can't play the game. Coaches are different. Dude, are you fucking retarded? Honestly, are you retarded? Coaches don't line up and play. The only thing they're gauged on is record and Super Bowls. You have to be retarded. I mean, honestly. Okay? Coaches are gauged on their record. Players are not. They're gauged on their play on the field. No? Holy cow. It's not one in it. Some of you are the most ignorant human beings I've ever listened to in my entire life when it comes to trying to figure out who the better player is. So here, when you go down the list of the top 100 players, and you list the first, so you list all 25 Eagle players first because they won a Super Bowl, where you list the Kansas City Chiefs guys first. Is that what you're saying? No, hey, on this one here, well, Nick don't have a job. So here's where I would rank Jeff Stoutland. Okay? If I'm ranking the best offensive line coaches of all time, One. It's Dante Scarnacchi, number one. Number two, I'm going Jeff Stoutland. Why? Salary cap. You imagine what Jeff Stoutland would have done if Jeff Stoutland didn't have free agency? Holy cow. He would have been insane. He would have been insane. Just insane. 3. Bob McKintrick, 49ers. 4. Alex Gibbs. 5. Howard Mudd. And 6, I'll go Joe Bugle. I'll put those guys in the room there. Okay? Jeff Stoutland is a hell of a coach. He is one whale of a coach. And the offensive, I'll say it again. You know what I should do? We should get Nate Newton on. Okay? We should get Nate on the program so that we could get his spin, or somebody like Stepnoski, and talk about your offensive line. You know what? We already had Tony Weiss on, who was the O-line coach during that Cowboy time. And he told you how great Stoutland was. And he told you how great the group that you have right now. See, that's what we do here too, folks. We bring some of the greatest coaches of all time on. Tony Weiss won 3 Super Bowls with that Cowboy O-line and Emmitt Smith. Bill Callahan is a really great coach. He totally is. He's the second best O-line coach in today's game. Okay? Boy, I'll tell you, Pat, nice pull. Mike Munchak is a sensational coach. An absolutely sensational. Yeah, I got Alex Gibbs in my top 5. Truly one of the greatest. Why would you? Why would you know? You've never heard of any of these guys? Why would you? How would you know? So when you just randomly throw out that Jeff Stoutland's the greatest, how would you know? You wouldn't know. Because you don't know the history of the game. You don't know how many great coaches have coached the offensive line in the last 25, 50, 40 years. How would you know? You're not in the game. You wave from the stands. How would you know? Assistant coaches are not something you sit around and talk to your buddies about. How would you know? You wouldn't know. It's not a rip. You've never heard of any of those guys? Well, I'll tell you what, between 2 of them, they got 10 rings. And you've never heard of them. I know. I know. I know. So, once again, top 5, I got Stoutland number 2. That's a hell of a list of the greatest coaches in the history of the league. I would say this, Jeff Stoutland's a Hall of Fame offensive line coach for sure. McKintrick is. Dante Scarnacchi will be. And so will Jeff Stoutland. The amount of Hall of Fame players and talent that he's put into the National Football League is second to none. He's an absolutely sensational coach. Did you see that CJ's baby mama said that he put a hit on Malik Neighbors? This is why, once again, that Gardner Johnson is no longer on your football team. He's a locker room cancer. And they don't want it around the young players. That's not a shock. He's a shit-talking guy who can't shut his mouth and doesn't know how to play by the rules in the locker room. And the Eagles have had it. And they said, good riddance. Thank you for the Super Bowl help. We appreciate it. You're not going to be here and part of our future. Do you know why Gardner Johnson's not on the Eagles? Because he's not a good person. They don't like him. Imagine that. Hey, CJ, you want something to really bitch about? They didn't cut you because you sucked. They didn't cut you because you're old. Or trade you, I should say. They didn't get rid of any of that. But you know what they don't like? You. Can you imagine that? I don't like you. I don't like you. You know, there's one thing to have shit talking. Okay? There's one thing to have a shit talk. It's another thing when you don't like somebody. They don't like you. How about this? It's not like you have a replacement for him because you don't. You do not have a replacement for him. You may think you do, but you don't. So why are you not on the team? Because we don't like you. Okay? We don't like you. I think he's a really good player. I think he's a really good player. You know what's funny? I brought this comment up to you guys. And everyone called me a liar when I said that the DB coach and him used to go at it. Christian Parker. Because Clint told me this. Used to have to tell him to shut the hell up all the time or shut the fuck up all the time. This is just bad, fake news. Turns out to be true. Okay? Turns out completely to be true. Get this. All right, Twiz. I made that up. Why is he not on the team? Give me one reason that he's not on the team. Not old. He had 6 picks. He was second in the league in turnovers. He's ranked as one of the top safeties in the game. Why is he not on the team? Come on, Twiz. Get this. He's saying I didn't say that. How many people remember me saying that him and Christian Parker got into many back and forths, and this was one of the reasons why they didn't want him on the team? So Twiz is calling me a liar now, guys. How many people heard me say that? That he and Christian Parker, I even tweeted it. You can go look at it. Okay? Bro, you do not have a replacement for him. End of story. Thank you, Pat. Thank you, Pat. We even tweeted it. Okay? I know, honey. It's okay when you're wrong. L, Twiz. L. Big time L, Twiz. How you doing? Oh, my God. So I got another one here for you guys. I know your fantasy has replacements and Sidney Brown and some dude named Makuba and I got it, Keely Ringo and all them guys. I know they're all replacements. We'll see. I got it. Not going into that same bullshit again. So let me ask you a question here. How many people believe that Jeff Stoutland is the best coach, offensive line coach in pro football history? How many people believe that? Let me hear you say it. Say it with me. Say it with me. Guys, hit the like button. Thank you for your supers today, too, by the way. Come on now. You've got to say it. Look at this. M. Reyes says, I believe it. Okay. Not yet. One of the best of all time. Okay. Who is more important to the success of this football team this year, Vic Fangio or Jeff Stoutland? You can't have both. So don't try acting like a reporter, because you're not. Or you could pretend to be, I guess. Nowadays, people can pretend to be anything they want, like chicks, I guess. So you can pretend to be anything you want. You tell me, Vic or Stoutland? Who could you not live without this year? I thought about this. Man, that O-line is the centerpiece of your football team. But without Vic Fangio, you're lost. Because that's all you're hanging your hats on. The good players you have, with a few exceptional, you're hanging your hat on the coach, because that's what you guys keep going back to. Okay? What and who is the most important assistant? And that, get this, these two guys are more important than Kevin Patullo. Kevin Patullo is not in their room. Why? Because they'll just get another dude in there. Now let's take a look at something here. Well, let's go to the Eagles here. So let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Let's take a look at this here. Teams. I'm going to go down here. Let me go to the depth chart. Okay. Let's take a look and see what Jeff Stoutland versus Vic Fangio. Now, do you guys want to do front seven, or do you want to do front four? You tell me. All right, so let's take a look at this. Jordan Mailata, a 7th rounder. Jordan Davis, 1st rounder, 13th pick. Jalen Carter, 1st rounder, 9th pick. Nolan Smith, Nomoro Jomo, 7th rounder. Excuse me. Hold on. Jeff Stoutland, 7th rounder, Jordan Mailata. Landon Dickerson, 2nd rounder. Cam Jurgens, 2nd rounder. Tyler Steen, 3rd rounder. Lane Johnson, 5th pick. 1st rounder. Here's what Vic's working with. 7th rounder, Moro Jomo. Jordan Davis, 1st rounder. Jalen Carter, 1st rounder. Nolan Smith, 1st rounder. Who do you think has done a better job? You got 3 first rounders in that front four. Do you not? You got 3 first rounders. Fuck, you better be good. Right? You better. I mean, Jeff Stoutland's got a 7th, 2 2s, a 3rd rounder, and a 1st rounder that is the oldest guy in the team. So who's more important? As a matter of fact, that's a really good question here. Let's take a look at Vic's defense. And let's go here with Vic's working with. Let's see here. Vic. Jordan Davis first. Carter first. Nolan Smith first. Nakobe Dean third. Morrow seventh. I think seventh or sixth. Quinyon Mitchell first. Makuba a second. DeJean a second. Fuck. Ringo, I don't know what he was. Blankenship was an undrafted free agent. And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who am I missing? Reed, UDFA. Ringo, third. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So out of your 11 guys, 1, 2, 3, 4 first rounders, 2 second rounders, and 2 third rounders. Jesus Christ, you better be fucking good. That is a lot of draft capital for a defense. You better be great this year. You got all first and second and third round draft choices with a UDFA back there and a couple free agents. Jesus criminy, man. You better be good. The drafting that they did this year, if that team's not in the top 10, I mean, what are we talking about here? Experience. You decided to cut the experience loose. Hey, all I'm saying is, you have to expect this. You have drafted a shitload of dudes on defense with high draft picks. I heard John say something about a third round pick. Top 3 picks are very, very, very important third rounders. All the way down to the third round. Joe Montana was a third rounder. Russell Wilson was a third rounder. So Ajomo is a 7th rounder. Davis 1. Carter 1. Smith 1. Dean a 3. Q a 1. Makuba a 2nd rounder. Cooper a 2nd rounder. And behind him you have Jahad Campbell, 1st rounder. Sidney Brown, 3rd rounder. That guy Ty Robinson, 3rd rounder. Man, you drafted a shitload of guys, and they're going to have to pan out. Hunt, a 3rd rounder. Howie surely has. Okay? Hey, I love it. I love it. Let's go. Look at all these draft picks. Let me finish my topic here. The guy that I would say that's got the tougher job this year and the most important job is Jeff Stoutland. Jeff doesn't care if you're a first-round pick or what have you. Look at all these picks. These picks of your 11 starters on defense, 8 of them are top 3 rounds. And you got 4 first-round draft choices on that side of the ball. All right. That's not how the Legion of Boom was built, but okay. I got it. You got it. Sills, if I had to drop one, I'd lose Stout because his unit is set. We have a better chance to succeed. Vic's unit is in flux. Vic is more valuable. Okay. If Keely Bingo gets torched in September, Eagle fans are going to be calling for his head. They should. Didn't Jimmy Johnson build the Cowboys off of draft picks for trading Herschel Walker? He did not add one player to the offensive line except for one dude. That was Mark Stepnoski. That O-line was there before Jimmy got there because I was there. Not true. He built the defense with the Herschel Walker. Michael Irvin was drafted by Tom Landry. Troy Aikman was already in the mix to be drafted by Tom Landry. Name me one guy that Jimmy built in that offensive line huddle outside of Mark Stepnoski. One. Name me one. He didn't build one guy. The quarterback and the receiver were there already. He did draft Emmett. And that was the linchpin to the success of the team, was Emmett. Emmett made, get this. Do you know why you're talking about your old line being the best and it's not close? It's because of Barkley. That's exactly what Emmett did for the Dallas Cowboy O-line. They were good. They weren't that good. Okay? The talent was accentuated by the running back. Okay? Seals, I will say Vic because he had the guts to tell this is true. Seals, I will say Vic because he had the guts to tell Howie, I'm not playing Huff, even if he got paid. And do you really want to say this too? Here's another one. Okay? Here's another one. Not only did he do that, but they didn't play Bradbury. Tony Weiss drafted Larry Allen in the 12th round. Yes. Okay? Jimmy didn't draft him. Jimmy was probably in the mix before he left, though, for Larry Allen. I believe he played at Humboldt State University. Larry Allen. He was a 12th round draft pick. Nobody really knew anything about him. I think he had grade problems, and that's why he went to Humboldt and played there. And if you want to really look at it, he's a greater selection than anything Mulata will ever be. Okay? I mean, he was a 12th round draft choice. And he went on to be the greatest guard ever to play. The greatest. I'm very excited to watch this team ball out again this year. Me too. Absolutely. Very excited. Bro, if Ringo gets 8 interceptions, he's the defensive player of the year. If Ringo's starting after week 3, I'll be stunned. Probably Eric Williams, he got there in 91. That sounds right, Eric Williams. They replaced Gogan. Yes. Okay. Yes, I would agree to that. Absolutely. No question about it. I'm going to do something here. You're probably not going to believe it. It's going to be around Jalen Hurts. Let's see. Vic, let me finish up the Vic Fangio and Jeff Stoutland. Vic Fangio is the guy who would spend a day with a fishing hole and would enjoy his company. Shady. From what I understand, the guy just sits around talking about offensive line. I worked with a guy by the name of Lamar Leachman, who was the coach that coached Lawrence Taylor. And being around him when he was in Detroit, it's a lesson. All they do is teach footsteps and hand placement and where you put your hands, where you put your feet, your angles of pursuit. Your foot angle will determine if you can go through a stunt. It is so technically sound. Some of these coaches like Stoutland and Lamar Leachman, who was a defensive line coach for Parcells in the Giant years, worked in Detroit when I was up there. Just being around him, showing you a hand, the chop swing, he would show you that if you put your feet at a 45-degree angle, you got more of a chance to get to that pass rush versus if you take a deeper step when it comes to going through your pursuit angles. Everything was so technically done. It's funny. I was watching my daughter. I explained this to my wife when it came to tackling angles, and I learned this from Lamar Leachman. Lamar would tell me, "You're not taking a deep enough step. That's why that guy's getting on your outside shoulder." Okay, that's okay, and it's simple like that. Okay, get this. Ringo might look like the Jags Ramsey. Why didn't he play a year ago? The simple question. Why didn't he play a year ago? He wasn't hurt. He's been on the team 3 fucking years. Why didn't he play a year ago, RC3? No. He couldn't beat out Isaiah Rodgers. What do you mean because of Slay? He didn't get on the field because of Rodgers. Bro, Keely Ringo couldn't beat out Isaiah Rodgers. You cannot answer that question with any. Isaiah Rodgers was ahead of schedule. What? Because he sat out a year because of gambling? He was ahead of schedule. He didn't play the year before. He was ahead of schedule. What schedule was that? His bookie? He was ahead of schedule. Yeah. Hey, get this. Listen to this guy. They had a plan. Yeah, at the end of the year, he's a free agent. That's some plan. He's been on the team 3 years. What a plan. Hey, he sat there and he was on the team for 3 freaking years, and now he's a free agent at the end of the year. But what a plan. Wow, that's a plan. Seals, can you do a breakdown of how you would attack the Eagles and how we would attack every team on the schedule this year? We'll do that. That sounds like fun. Absolutely. Okay. Ringo has clearly had issues learning his zone assignments. It's a great take. That could, by the way, but to be fair to that take, which is a good one, let me throw this at you here. Okay? He may have more ability than Isaiah, but he just may be dumber and not be able to retain the playbook. That I hadn't thought about, but that's a thing. And that's why sometimes it takes longer for other players to get acclimated into a system and into a defense because they don't retain the information. You know, that's really a great take, bud. Let me dissect that even more. That's what makes what Q did and what Cooper DeJean did and how fast those guys matriculated into the playbook is absolutely insane great. They were not only the ability to be able to read a playbook, but to take the information and understand it and apply it on the field and play like that is off the charts, like superior football IQ. That is way over the top. Like football IQ. Way over the top. Some guys, it takes, look, do you know how many times I've seen this? Dude, guys are so good at players. They're just gifted beyond anything. Look, I don't think anybody would ever sit back and go like this, but you got a great take. You got a great take there on him. Nobody would ever say that Isaiah Rodgers is a better athlete, I don't think, than Keely Ringo, right? I'll even concede to that. There's no way. There's no way. However, he understood the playbook more, and he understood the zone defense more. And remember something. He's a perfect corner in today's NFL. They're not looking for the big hitters. You can't even make a hip drop tackle anymore. Okay, you can't. I don't even know how you get guys on the ground. I have no idea how you get dudes on the ground. And I would say this about Keeley. He's probably a better athlete. But that don't mean he retains the information or he applies it on the field very well, or he could take what he's been taught and apply it in a game or on a wide receiver. He might be a slow learner. That's okay. Once you identify the retention, hey, bud, let me show you something else. Why do you guys think they do OTAs? You know, I try to educate some of you guys in here. You just don't want to hear it. Why do you think they do OTAs in minicamp, especially for the rookies? Why do you think? Why do you think they do it? Veterans don't need it. Well, free agent veterans do. But why do you think they do OTAs and minicamps? Guys like Lane Johnson and Malata and those guys. I mean, it's just being with the team. It's just the new look of the team. You're seeing a brand new group of guys. This is right here. Sharon, let me show you this. So my first rookie camp, they'll come at you and go like this. You'll have a meeting in the morning. You'll study what you're going to go over in practice. And they'll do it fast. Okay, we're going to run base. We're going to run weak, strong, and we're going to run 50 front. And you've got to know the technique to line up in a 3, 2, 1, 0 shade tilt. That's just in base. And so what they'll do is they'll go 5 front, twist right, weak side corner, banjo 6. And you'll sit there and go, what the fuck are they talking about? Banjo 6. Does that mean I have to slide to the strong side or weak side? Do I tilt on one side? And before you know it, you're turning around looking at the Mike linebacker because the Mike linebacker is the coach on the team. And you're like, what the boom, snap. You're done. Minus on film, you look like shit. And the eye in the sky is the one that evaluates you. And before you know it, you're second and third team. And before you know it, you're off the fucking team. That's how fast that shit works. You're there. And then what they do is they inundate you. Then they start picking out the 5 or 6 dudes that they only have to tell once to. Once, twice, maybe. They'll go forward with you. They'll keep a guy. Now, if they draft you in the first, second, or third round, they're going to keep you even if you're a dummy. But if you're somebody that they drafted late and they like, and all of a sudden you're picking up, this is where Xander's Trotter has an advantage. Why? His dad taught him all this shit. His dad knows. In football, all IQ is how he's drafted. It really is. Okay? How in the world could minicamp 7-on-7 be anything to do with conditioning? You're in no pads. Conditioning is in the training camp when you do your fall testing. You just have today's NFL guys not out of shape because they have all these mini camps. We didn't have all these mini camps. We had like a rookie camp, a mandatory mini camp, and then we had training camp for 3 months. Now you have all these OTAs, unmandatory, mandatory. Then you have like get together, whatever. All these OTAs, training off season. We didn't have any of that shit. Okay? We didn't have any of that. Didn't Buddy bench Mike Singletary because he didn't know his assignments? Ain't that easy when you got a guy screaming in your ear? Do you not know how many fucking times do I have to tell you it's a 3 technique when we're slide left? Simple. If you can't line up, you can't play. Simple as that. You're hearing this and you're going, fuck. And you read it 40 times before you got out of here. I can't tell you how many times that I've seen it and been through it. Bro, these coaches, I just got through telling you, foot technique, lining up in a shade. If you shade too much, he's going to come up on you and smack you in your ass. Move the fuck down. Now, they don't coach like this, like they used to. Slide down. What are you not hearing? Do you not know the difference? And what they're doing is like a drill sergeant. They're trying to get you rattled. Because if you're in a game, I know, honey, it's okay. That's the kind of stuff that those guys are telling you. They're constantly in your ass. Constantly. And what they're going to do is they're going to tell you, and they're going to pick 5 guys and they're going to go forward with those dudes. Because those guys are going to be the people that will retain the information. Simple as that. Okay? Simple as that. Hit the like button, guys. Seals, think about all the athletes we have on the Eagles team, offense and defense. Ringo is the best athlete. Ridiculous. So you think he's a better athlete than Cooper DeJean and Jordan Mailata? Is that right? What do you think he's a better athlete? Well, then why didn't he get on the field? They ranked Jalen Carter as the 3rd best DT in NFL into the 25. But he added a BS-ass comment at the end. Think of the Hall of Famer as long as he can keep his life together, something like that. Hey, Ben, I think he's a good ball player. Don't read that shit. People are going to make comments about that Georgia stuff for the rest of his life, and it'll follow him for the rest of his life. Okay? Carter's not the best athlete on your team. He's not a better athlete than Lane Johnson. Dude, here, if I were to rank your best athletes, so you think that Jalen Carter is a better athlete than A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley or Lane Johnson, Cooper DeJean, Jordan Mailata, who didn't even know how to play football 5 years ago, 6 years ago? You had no, really. My dad was a great baseball coach. He said, you can't treat everyone the same. Absolutely so true. People are different. You have to know them to relate to them to get the most out of them. Let me, Shady. There's some players you hit with a feather. There's some players you hit with a hammer. Okay? All I'm going to say about the Eagle defense is that the team is only as strong as the weakest link. Bro, I don't really think they have a ton of weak links. I think they have a ton of areas of unknown. I wouldn't say weak link. I would say more unknown. Get this. Here's what I would say about the Eagle roster. Okay? Here's what I would say about the Eagle roster. I would say this. It's not that they're not a good roster. There's just a ton of unknowns. Yes. I've never said you're a bad roster. I said you got a shitload of unknowns. Incomplete. Absolutely. Get this. I saw somebody in here who made a comment about how coaches coached you with an OMG. Are you under the impression they didn't talk to you like that? Holy shit, it's a different world today. I heard John McMullen talking about the Corey Stringer stuff. I remember being on the air for that. I was at Fox Sports Radio. I had a co-host with me. My wife was producing the show. You know what? You know what he said? He said, "This guy's not very tough. This guy fainted on the field." And I went just like this. I swear to you. My wife was producing the show in Los Angeles. And I said this on the air. Yeah, well, I'm not going there. You never know what goes on in training camp. I'm not going there because you don't know if the guy had a heat stroke or what have you. Guy dies overnight, Corey Stringer. And he came to me right before the show. He goes, "Sills, I'm so sorry. I didn't know." I go, "Man, you never comment about a player who passes out in a football practice. You don't know if he has a heart condition. You don't know if he has a pre-existing condition. You don't know if he has heat exhaustion. You don't make comments like that. If you're a first-round draft choice and you're a pick by Minnesota like he was out of Ohio State, and you're expecting that guy to be a starter, that guy's just not going to pass out just because he's passing out." And I knew better. I'm like, "Yeah, well, I'm not going." I said exactly that. I went, "Yeah, I'm not going there." And Mike Tice is a former Terp, and he played with me at Maryland. And he was the O-line coach. Mike Tice is a great dude. I heard John McMullen talking about Mike Tice. Mike played with me at Maryland. And Mike was on his ass. Okay? He was on his ass. It's a true story. Let me give you a water story. I heard Xander say this stuff is insane. Well, listen to this. So I got down to Miami. Blazing hot. Humidity was over the top. Just completely over the top. Okay? We couldn't grab water. And when we did, we were at one end of the field at the Heck Center. And I had to run. We had to run. We would grab 3 or 4 cups. We only got 2 water breaks. Kevin O'Neill would come to Jimmy and go, "You got to give these guys water, man. You can't go 2 hours. We're not giving them water." The guys were passing out, throwing up. We're standing there. I mean, honest to God, you ever get so hot, you start freezing. And we're sitting there just doing this. And you didn't want to ask for water because they would think you were weak. Nobody asked for water. You kidding me? I was raised that way on a football field. You didn't ask for water. I just was like, you're waving like this. You're just waving. Finally, you hear water break. And you got to run a mile to get over there and get it. And by the time you get there, the whistle blows and you got to go back to your drills. I mean, I've seen guys crap their pants over that. I've seen guys quit over that. I mean, I can't tell you how many situations I've been in where I've just seen guys fall down. You're sitting here like this. It's been 2 hours since we got a cup of water. I remember Stubbs going like this to me and Kevin Fagan. "You think they'll give us a water break?" I go, "No fucking way. No fucking way." We would sit. Do you know what they used to do to us? We would have ice baths in the training room. As soon as practice was over, I would have my full gear on. I'd just jump in. Steam would be coming off our heads. You go in the training room, you thought it was a steam room. It's because the players were so hot. I jumped in once with my full gear on. I don't know how I lived through that. I did that every year. I have no idea how I lived through that. No water, 3 days, Florida heat, full gear, 3 months. Waving. John's right. You didn't ask your coach for water breaks. I heard Xander go like this. This shit's insane. Like, I know. It was insane. I sat there. Here, I'll give you one. It was the middle of training camp in Tampa. I've got pictures too, man. And it must have been 98 degrees and 90 humidity. I'm just sitting there. We're in our third practice. I mean, after a while, you forget what day it is. You're just getting into a routine. You get up in the morning, you go to breakfast, you go to meetings, you put your gear on, you practice for 2 hours, you stay out under a tent for an hour and a half of break. Then you put your gear back on, you go back out, then you come back, you go to lunch, you go to meetings, you lay down for about 35 minutes. You go back on the field again, and you practice for 3 hours. You go to meetings, you have your dinner, you do it again. What day is it? I fucking don't know. What month is it? I fucking don't know. Let me see. How many training camps did I do that for? Let's see. I'm not going to even count college. Because every year I was in college, I did that. So if you want to go to those college training camps, all those training camps were like that. So I did 5 of those. No, 10, counting spring ball. So I did 10 of those in college. And in the pros, I did training camp. I did 2 in Tampa. I did 2 in Dallas. I did 1 in Detroit. I did 2 in Orlando. And I did 1 in Vegas. And I did another one in Canada. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I did 19 camps like that. 19 camps. And in those camps, I had Tom Landry, Bobby Ross, Jimmy Johnson, Ron Myers, Wayne Fonts. Detroit was the easiest camp I ever had. Detroit was the easiest camp. I mean, honest to God, I have no idea how I lived through that. None. Zero idea. Insanity. Okay? Sales, how much food did you have to eat to stay your size? That seems like the food would be the hardest thing to maintain. You couldn't keep your food down. You couldn't keep your food down. And you were so hot you didn't eat. What I did was I drank milkshakes and I did as much as I could to eat as much fatty food. I just couldn't keep my weight on. When I went to the cowboy camp, I was 285 pounds, and I was about 13 or 14% body fat. And I had to keep that weight on because I knew training camp was coming. I kept that training. Shit, man. By the end of training camp, you go in at 282, you're going to come out at 269, 272. Easily. No question about it. Okay? No question about it. That's why when guys used to go into training camp fat, they didn't go into training camp to be out of shape. They went into training camp so they could survive it. Everyone goes, well, the players back in the day used it to get in shape. No, the players did it to survive. Yeah, Ron Meyer, that coach. He coached me in Canada, yes. Okay. What's crazy is people used to believe that more sweat, more weight loss, better gains. It's just not true. It's totally not true. Rest is the best. Here's the story, Ben. Okay, here's the best story I could ever have. I trained my ass off every single day. I benched every other day. I squatted every other day. And I just wasn't getting above 450 in my bench or above 650 in my squat. I just couldn't get ahead. I didn't know what I had to do. I would go in there. I was training my ass off. Finally, I went home. Get this. I went home to Connecticut to my grandpa's house. And I took a full week of weightlifting off. And I came down to Miami. We had an initial strength training. I didn't even know. I didn't know we were going to have a strength training contest. I didn't know. I hadn't worked out in a week. I was panicked. So I get under there and I get up to 450. Boom. I had never been above 450 in my life. I was like, wow. My friend Matt Patchen, who played with the Eagles, goes like this, put 500 on. I was like, no way. Let me put 475 on. I had never touched anything above it. I put 475 on. Bam. I was like, shit. He goes, Dan, put 500 pounds on. There had only been one guy at the time ever benched 500 pounds. That was Reuben Carter. Played with the Broncos. So I was like this. All right, I put 500 on. Bam. My friend Patchen goes, you got to put 550 on. I was like, no way, man. He goes, put 535 on. And I said, okay. I put 535 on. Bam. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I had never been above 450 in my bench. I'm at 535 because of rest. I was like, holy shit. So then I put 550 on. And they touched the bar. I had it. I said, that's it. I'm not doing it anymore. I believe I could have did 570. Okay, on my bench. I couldn't believe it. 2 days later, we did our squats. I never got above 650. I got up to 710 pounds. So inside of 4 days, I did a 535 credited bench, and I did 710 pound squat in a matter of 4 days. And I took a week off. I knew right then and there I needed more rest, and my weight was going up. So you're right. The athletes of today are 10 times smarter with 10 times better idea of what to train. It was an epiphany. Wait a minute. But you see, get this. Coaches back then didn't want to hear. What do you think the worst word a coach could ever hear was? Rest. They didn't believe in rest. They didn't believe in that shit. They just didn't believe it. Okay? I mean, now you've got a better fundamental way of training people. Hey, get this. I think the Eagles do it right. I'm wrong. Gary Cobb will be on with us at 4:30. But, I mean, that story that John told about Corey Stringer, that was the way of life. You kidding me? When I started going to practices, I started seeing like I covered the Chargers, and then I started covering the Rams. And I went to the Bucks practices. I couldn't believe how much water those guys could get water anytime they wanted. I remember looking over, going, "Wow, boy, that's changed." Man, that's brand new. I never saw anybody get water. You had Gatorade cups out all over the place. You know, guys could go over, get hydrated, get electrolytes and all that. And I'm like, man, you never asked for that. No way. You never asked for that. Your coach might cut you. Hey, coach, think we can get a water break? No one had the ball. Nobody ever had the balls to say that. Hey, coach, think we can get a water break? Bro, that didn't go down like that. They didn't sign players that wanted water breaks. I'm not saying it's right because we found out now it's not. I mean, absolutely. Just, I mean, the Corey Stringer thing. You know, Corey Stringer's death saved so many lives. Unfortunately, it saved so many lives. I'm surprised more people didn't die during my era of football, just in training alone. And then you would have these coaches screaming at you. Did you not fucking hear me? And you're sitting there and you're just seriously, it was like SEALs training camp. I mean, you're waving around, people are screaming at you. You don't know where you are. You don't know the plays. I mean, you just have no idea. And you think you put your hands in the trust of these coaches. And you're just sitting here. If my aunt ever fucking saw those guys treating me like that, or my folks, or anybody, she would come off the top rope like she was Jimmy Snuka. Would have went nuts. She says, you know that it was different. You know why? Because the majority of the coaches back then had a military mentality. They thought training players, okay? They thought training of the players was like the training of military guys. That's where they got it from. That's where they got it. I mean, they got it from being like Parcells coached at Army. And Belichick coached at the Naval Academy. You don't see that shit nowadays. Hell, you go over to the NovaCare Center during training camp. John McMullen says those guys spend 35 minutes in training camp or an hour tops during 2-a-days. An hour? See, when you hear Gary Cobb and you hear me talking, you have to understand the error thing that's different. Man, an hour of an hour of training camp? And most of the time you're fucking standing around. You get an hour, so you probably get about 45 minutes of total training. And you're done for the day? And you have helmets and shorts later? It's a different world. It's better. I applaud the NFL for that. But man, those old school coaches, that's why Vic put a little old school in the Eagle defense a year ago. What did he do? They ran extra. And it got him in shape. Absolutely. Yeah, I heard that story. I didn't realize that John had covered the Minnesota Vikings. Mike Tice played football with me at Maryland. He was Corey Stringer's O-line coach. I know Mike very well. I should get him on. And he was in his, he regrets it. He didn't know. I'll never forget, though, being on the air. A guy named was Craig Sheeman. He's sitting with me. He goes, this guy's soft. This guy's this and that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm not going there. Because guys just don't follow and fall over. Now, 6'7". Guys just don't fall over like that. Yeah, well, I'm not going there. Died the next day. The guy comes walking up to me going, Stills, how'd you know? I go, I didn't know, but you don't make a fucking dumbass comment like that about a guy who faints in training camp. Different world, dude. It's a better world. It's a better world. Blaine, good afternoon, Sills. That old school teams kept the NFL players in check and championship teams stuck together longer. Yeah, because they didn't have free agency. Absolutely. John's right, though, man. Hey, Coach, can I get a cup of water? I heard Xander go like this morning. How's that even a thing? Really, he's right. How is that a thing? Coach, can I have a glass of water? I'm dying. No. Oh, yeah. Hey, Coach, can I have oxygen? No. You watch when I get Gary on. He'll start laughing on how training camp is today for players. I think it's better. I'm for it. All right. Always a great conversation coming up. Don't forget, JAKIB at 4:30. Oh, I got to say this to you before we get Big Z up here. Just to put everything in perspective here on who listens to the program. Howard Eskin right now is wanting the segment that we did yesterday on, he knows I do a show. And he wants the segment when I was talking because Barrett Media has picked up our interview and is plastering it around, and it's going around and going around all the media outlets now because he took a shit on the industry and he took a shit on WIP. So don't ever say whatever we say here doesn't get and move around the room. With all that being said, the show that moves it, baby. Big Z in the morning with John. That was a great combo this morning as we're getting ready. We are 14 days out from training camp, 4 days out from the Chargers starting camp. Without further ado, Big Z. Xander Kraus joins us now.
What's up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you doing, man? A little like Howard Eskin thing, little interview there. When the world wants to know about sports talk, they come right here. That's what they do, brother.
That was like a promotional for fucking WIP, that damn segment.
What?
That's all I heard for like 22 minutes. I'm like, oh, let me wake up. Let me wake up. You just asked about Jalen Hurts.
Hold on for a second here. All you have to do is tune on IP and then tune on us, and you'll be right back. Hey, I mean, I implore you to listen to them. And then you'll go, because that's what I do. I listen to IP and I go, do birds, man.
I'm surprised Kyle made it through it. Kyle's the type of guy who would have fell asleep. Kyle Kokorski.
Kyle, you are killing it in this offseason.
Oh, Kyle is killing it. He is. I agree.
He is. How about that? So you didn't really know that was a thing, huh? About not giving water to players and.
Well, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't know it was like, I understand that it used to be, strict training, but strict training is one thing. Depriving someone of nutrients that's going to keep them going to handle the strict training just basically seems like common sense to me. Like I played sports as a kid. I mean, it was different, obviously, but obviously I understand what it means. I played travel hockey. I played AAA hockey until I was, couldn't play AAA hockey anymore.
It's a hard, dude. Those.
No, but my point is, work your ass off. Yes, I don't think that's a problem, but why work your ass off and not allow someone to get water, which is what's going to allow them to, work their ass off, basically. So I don't know. It's one of those things. I'm happy they corrected. I don't have a problem. I'm not the type of dude that's like, I want butterball, practices. It's good. It's whatever each coach wants to do. I have no problem with an old school coach, but obviously you need water. You know what I mean? Stuff like that makes sense to me.
I'll tell you this, man.
By the way, did you hear me the story about the death of the kid in my high school?
No. Yeah. Oh, I heard it. But tell me it again, because
I don't know. I mean, it was when I was a senior. He passed away at summer practice at St. Joe's Prep. Yeah, Ryan Gilliard, his name was RG30.
Was he a wrestler?
No, he was a football player. He was a football player. Yeah. So that it became a big thing. Now, I don't think there was anything there where they were mad at the school for not allowing water or anything like that. I think it was just a really unfortunate circumstance, but it did highlight for many, how important it is to take care of your body, especially when you're out in the blistering heat, in the summer and stuff. So very, very, very sad story though. My senior year of high school. Yeah.
Man, that stuff, again, I said it a couple of minutes ago. I think the death of Corey Stringer may have saved a lot of lives, unfortunately, in the end, because the NFL changed their policy after that. That nutrition became something that the Eagles have taken to another level. I mean, let's knock on wood here. Boom, boom, boom. But the Eagles have been the healthiest team I've ever seen in the last 3 years, no? Even through that shitty 23, they were still healthy, no? There were a couple bumps and bruises, but their team does a great job at keeping those guys on the field, and I give them a lot of kudos. All right. So I threw this out, and you had a lot of great topics again today. And Jeff Stoutland, and I threw this at you here. He's probably one of the 5 greatest offensive line coaches in pro football history. But where I would put him second to Dante Scarnecchia. Dante was also in the salary cap area. He had 5 rings with New England. He was the O-line coach. Think of this here, Xander. No player on that New England team will go into the Pro Football Hall of Fame off that O-line. And they won 6 rings. And he developed that O-line.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, he did more with less. Is that fair to say?
I think it's fair to say, yeah.
Okay. Here's where Stoutland is sensational. It don't matter who's fucking playing. It could be Jason Peters. It could be Isaac Seumalo. It could be anybody. This guy finds these guys. What was Kelsey, a 6th-rounder?
Kelsey, yeah, 6th-rounder. Yeah.
6th-round guy. Bellotta, a 7th-round guy who's on his trending towards the Hall of Fame. Lane is the 5th pick. You're expecting him to be great, but not that freaking great. And look at Landon. Landon is turning out to be one of the top 3 guards in all of pro football. And this guy's doing it in the salary cap era where there's constant changeover. So he's the best in the game. Bill Callahan's probably second in Tennessee, but there's no question about it. With all that being said, in your opinion, is it Vic or Stoutland in 2025 that has the tougher job?
Wow, I think it's Vic. I mean, I think Stoutland has a well-oiled machine at this point. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit easier to slot a new guy in when you have as much success as he had for as long as he's had it. Vic obviously has a lot of new guys and a lot of young guys. Remember, Stoutland's now working
high drafted guys.
High drafted, but Lane Johnson's 35.
Yep.
Landon Dickerson's 28 or 27 now. Jordan Mailata's 28 or 29 now. Cam Jurgens is the youngest guy on that O-line, and now if you add in Tyler Steen, I think Steen would be a little bit younger than Jurgens. So it's they got some age there. They got so much talent around Steen coming in. So I think it's obviously Vic in this question. He's got a much tougher task, got younger players, got more question marks, more moving parts. And, the other thing Vic doesn't have is he doesn't fully know yet where everybody's playing because he hasn't seen everybody. He's assuming Cooper is going to be at the slot, but if you kick Cooper to the outside, then what? Now you have a new position you got to fill. So I think Vic has so many moving parts that he's got probably the toughest job on the whole team this year, right? I mean, Patullo is getting 10 of 11 back, and he's been here for 4 years. Sirianni is what he is. He's the head coach. Vic has the most change, the most turnover, and the most challenge ahead of him. And by the way, the most hinging on him. I mean, if his defense sucks, the team's not going to go very far. If his defense is great, the team's going to go pretty damn far. So I think there's the most hinging on Fangio's success, and there's also the most question marks there.
Do you think we are underestimating the loss of Becton?
A little bit.
We just every single week we do this. Well, Stelling
but look at the history.
He'll figure it out.
Look at the history. Sayamalu. Cam Jurgens was there for a year. Becton was there. It doesn't matter who we put in.
Yeah, wait a minute. The history was 2,000 rushing yards last year, and he was part of that.
Well, that's true. That's true. But I'm saying that the offensive line the reason we didn't succeed in 23 or 21? You know, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't. And he has demonstrated success. So I hear you. I think we're probably over or underestimating it a little bit, but I still feel like we're going to be good enough there. Like, I don't worry about it, but it would be fair to say we are underestimating it slightly. I do think it's going to be a thing. I think Saquon's going to notice it more than anybody because Mekhi Becton, let's be real, was 6'8", and he was moving guys out of the way at ease. He was like literally one hand, just like, okay,
throwing dudes out of the club.
Saquon's coming. Watch out, please. That was kind of Becton. So I think Saquon will notice it, but I don't think it's going to be such a big impact that it really hurts the team.
I think that's going to be a pretty big thing to keep an eye on, and how well they do at that right guard. There's no doubt that Lane and Cam being there at center and right tackle are going to cover a lot of the mistakes, but is Tyler Steen going to win that job? And is there going to be a cliff dive from even Cam Jurgens from the 23 season because he was not able to win that job? And I'll tell you, man, I don't know. Becton may have found, like, remember when Stink came on? He was talking about a guy who could not play tackle. And that's what Becton was playing with the Jets. He said, listen, he doesn't have good enough footwork to play out there. They moved him inside. He became a Pro Bowler. I forget the Arizona Cardinal lineman he was talking about. That might be. What if Becton goes on, Xander, to be the best right guard in the league?
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, he's going.
I don't know, man. Did you think he didn't play? I thought he played Pro Bowl football.
I mean, was Mekhi Becton good, or did the Eagles' offensive line? Well, I think he was good. I'm not saying he wasn't good, but how much did the Eagles' offensive line help him in that?
A lot when you play next to great players.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to be playing next to great players. I mean, I think he's a great player. He was one of my favorite Eagles probably on the Super Bowl team last year. Probably in my top 10 or top 8 players on that team. Do I think he's going to be better there than he was here? I don't. And I don't mean that as a knock on the player. I kind of hope he is because I like the dude and I want to see him get paid and I want to see him have a long career in the NFL because I think he deserves it. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. I think he's a sharp dude. And it's cool to see a story like that where you go to a shitty organization, the Jets, they make you feel like you never even want to play the game again. You get to somebody who looks at you, sees you, appreciates you, gets the most out of you, and motivates you. And you get a paycheck, and I think that's a great story. So I'm happy for him, but I don't think he's going to be better than he was here last year.
So I did some homework last night, and I want to tell you my top 5 greatest draft picks since 2025.
For the
Eagles?
Eagles?
No matter what round it is. No. The best draft picks since 2025.
Since 2025. What do you mean?
Since 2000. I'm sorry, the last 25.
Since 2000.
Since
That's a long way back.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Number 5, Patrick Mahomes. First round, 10th pick, 2017 Kansas City Chiefs. The 10th pick has won 3 Super Bowls and been to 5. Pretty amazing. Number 4, Aaron Rodgers. First pick, 24th pick, 2005. Number 3, Brock Purdy.
Hold
on. 7th round.
Years.
Last player taken in the draft in 2022 just signed a $51 million deal. The last pick in the draft signed a $51 million deal.
I know what you're saying.
Do you?
I do. I know. It's cool. It's impressive.
Never done that.
I get it. You tell me any list in the NFL in the last 25 years, and Brock Purdy makes it. Part of me wants to think it's a shitty list.
He just got $50 million from the 49ers. He's been to a Super Bowl.
Okay, he didn't win it.
He's won an NFL. I know he's not started as long as Hurts. But he's
Relax.
also
Keep going. You're like a Brock Purdy stan over there, super fan. Holy shit, dude. Relax.
number 2. Jalen Hurts,
I agree.
second round, 53rd pick, Eagles, 2020. And number 1, Tom Brady, 2000, 6th round, 199th pick.
Tom Brady's easily the number 1 in this list. Who was number 4 again?
I got Aaron Rodgers because Aaron went 24th. And he's at
I'm good with that. I'm good with that.
500 quarterback touchdown throws right now. If he gets 3 more in Pittsburgh, he passes.
All right, so let me ask you something. You really believe in your heart of hearts that San Francisco selecting Brock Purdy was a better selection than the Eagles selecting Jordan Mailata in the 7th round?
Yes. Quarterback's more valuable. Quarterback's a more valuable pick. Yeah. Nobody in their right mind would go, well, a tackle is more valuable than a quarterback.
And what if Brock Purdy doesn't ever win in San Francisco? Does this list change?
Absolutely. But the last player taken took a team to the Super Bowl making $800,000. And for 4 quarters was winning it.
Jalen took the Eagles to the Super Bowl making $800,000, and you took a shit on him.
He's number 2 on this list.
I know. Boy, you're butthurt over this list. I can't even say anything.
No, I'm like, because you keep going like this.
Oh my God, dude.
Last player taken in the draft. Name me another player.
Look at defense. Drug test, please.
Okay, name me another player in the NFL that's ever been the last player taken that made a Pro Bowl at quarterback.
I don't know.
I got your boy too on here. He's behind Brady too, which is even more insane.
Funny. Brock Purdy. You're telling me in 25 years of drafting, there's about 234 picks per draft. You got wait a second.
Pick a quarterback.
Wait a second. So we're talking about 5,850 players selected. You're telling me Brock Purdy is on your top 5?
Name me another guy.
I'd have to do the research. I'd have to look into it a little bit.
I can't think of another quarterback that was the last pick in the draft that was a better draft choice than him that took a team to a Super Bowl. Even Nick Foles was a 4th rounder. Wasn't he? Or a 3rd rounder. What was it, Nick, like a 3rd round pick?
It's funny. I mean, I like
There's no quarterback.
I don't care what quarterback. Your explanation is not.
Flacco was a 1st round pick. There's no other guy in the last 25 years of Super Bowl play that's been the last player taken, take a team to a Super Bowl, and then get a $50 million deal.
I don't even know how to research this. Aaron Rodgers is a good selection.
How about this?
Patrick Mahomes is a good selection.
Look at the last 20. Just look at the last 25 Super Bowl, and just look at a quarterback maybe that you want to look at. Here, let me take a look at that Super Bowl list. Super Bowl winners. Super Bowl. In the last 25.
Yeah, where was Big Ben drafted?
Big Ben was 17th. Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I know Pittsburgh, but
yeah, first round. It was like the 7th. Let's see, 2000. Here we go, 2000. Let's see here. Trent Dilfer, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl. He's a 1st rounder.
Yeah, but what would you rather have? A guy you take in the 1st round that you win a Super Bowl with, or a guy you take in the 7th round that earns a big contract and takes you there, but you guys don't win it? I don't think Purdy's ever going back.
Okay, it's
maybe he does, but I don't think he is.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Okay, that year was Brad Johnson. He wasn't even drafted. Let's see. He was drafted by Minnesota somewhere. Let's see here. Steelers. That's Roethlisberger. That's Manning. That's Eli. That's Breeze. Breeze might be a good one because Breeze, I think, was a
Breeze
second
was a good
round.
one.
Breeze
Yeah.
was a second round pick. But look at the rest of these, man.
Who am I? Ready? The San Francisco 49ers will never
Are you kidding
win
me?
a Super Bowl with Brock Purdy.
I think the 49ers are going to win the NFC West.
I can see that.
Not because they're better than
I think the Rams.
They got the 27th worst fucking schedule.
It's definitely not going to be the Seahawks or the Cardinals, so it's going to be the Niners or the
Rams.
And I got the Rams. I got the Rams.
The Rams are playing a tougher schedule.
The Rams have a tougher schedule for sure, but I don't see them. I think the Rams are going to. I think the Rams are going to be a good team this year.
I get this. I don't think the Rams are better. I mean, I don't think the 49ers are better. I just think they got shittier teams to play. You know, when I looked at that Purdy pick, dude, I'm kind of a Purdy guy. I'm not really all over the guy. I don't give a shit. But I mean, you're not ever going to see the last pick in the draft get a $50 million deal.
No, I know. You're right. That is impressive.
So here, I got one for you. Since you say I'm taking a knee and kissing the ass of WIP here, I got another one for you. So WIP ranked the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. This ain't a list from Big Sales, by the way. Okay, this ain't a Big Sales list. This is
okay.
This is what your flagship station on.
Not my flagship station.
Okay, this is what. Yeah, because we're actually the flagship station now, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, no, that cost $10 million actually to get that.
Yeah, well, then we're the fans' flagship. How you doing? Number 10, they got Brock Purdy. How you doing? Number 9, they got Jared Goff. Number 8, they got Matthew Stafford. This is WIP's list of the top 10 quarterbacks in the league. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Jalen Hurts.
Whose list is this?
WIP's the same my list. Number 5, Jaden Daniels. Number 4, Joe Burrow. Number 3, Lamar Jackson. Number 2, Josh Allen. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Holy shit. The flagship station of the Eagles took a shit on Hurts and had him number 6.
It's not that bad. I mean, I don't. I have him a little
over
higher.
Jaden Daniels 1 year, dude.
Yeah, well, that's they're doing it for for clicks and it's working out for them. But then nobody believes that a 1 year player is better than a guy who's been to 2 Super Bowls in 3 years. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit how talented you are. I don't care what your arm looks like. I don't care if you went 15-0 in year 1. I'm not picking that player over a guy that has 4 years of established NFL quarterback play. I don't really care what it looks like. So I'm not picking that. I don't think anybody in their right mind would pick that. But they'll do it over there at the
No, I agree. If I were to take this list myself, I'd go Mahomes. I would do Burrow.
I think Burrow's, I don't know. He's not my favorite. I know he's a really good player. He's a really good player. I'm not saying he's not a really good player. He's probably the best real true quarterback in the NFL right now from the pocket. Just not my type. I mean, I saw this clip floating around of him on social media of quarterback from the quarterback show or something on Netflix. And he's like crying on the sidelines about, I don't know, something, and that play not good, and they're jumping off sides. And I get it. I like that from a leadership perspective of obviously you're trying to pursue greatness all the time. But he just sounded like a whiny chick when he did it. It was just like it's one thing to like that's why I like Jalen for doing it. Huh?
Think he's petty?
I could see it a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the dude. I'm not speaking. I'm just saying the clip made me like, I wouldn't listen to that. He wouldn't. Not for me. I'd rather Jalen Hurts' stoic, quiet leadership than that.
I'm gonna do something different here. And you're gonna fucking, I don't know if you're gonna agree or agree. I got Allen third. You know what, man? I'm gonna do something here that I can't believe I'm gonna say. I'm gonna have to fucking click my heels on this thing here. I'm gonna put Hurts 4 over Lamar. And I'm gonna tell you why over Lamar. I think he's smarter.
Well, he does. He plays the position the right way, Jalen.
And then I'll put Lamar fifth. I think Lamar's fifth, don't you? Look,
I have
Lamar's a better
Jalen
player.
higher.
Lamar's a better player, but Jalen's a better quarterback.
See, I think it's the other way around.
Well, he's not ever going to put up and carry teams like that like he does on his back. He's just not. I mean, 4,100 passing yards and 41 touchdown throws, 850 rushing. You're not good. That's one of the most iconic seasons I've ever seen.
He's one of the most talented dudes the NFL has maybe ever seen.
Hurts sees the game better.
Yeah, and that's more important when you're talking about that position for
His
sure.
His decision-making is just better. And I mean,
see, because I don't really agree that people, I understand that, maybe you could make a knock on Josh Allen's rosters or some of Mahomes' rosters or whatever, like Joe Burrow's rosters. I think Lamar's had pretty good rosters in Baltimore. Like, I really do. Like, I think he's had good enough
2 years, I would say, but
yeah, I mean, he's got one of the better GMs in football. They're always spending money. I mean, they're not shy about drafting, about signing, about paying players. I mean, I think that's one of the better front offices in football, and they're just not getting the job done.
I got a question to ask you that I've not asked you ever. So Jalen Hurts became the starting quarterback in 2021, correct?
Yeah.
Has Howie improved the roster from 2021 to 2025, in your opinion?
Absolutely.
Around Hurts.
Absolutely. I mean,
can you think that anywhere else in the NFL where a general manager has built a team around a quarterback where the roster in 5 years has gotten better around the quarterback? I don't believe there's one team in the NFL. Maybe
Mahomes' roster has gotten worse every year.
Mahomes, that's the point. Mahomes' roster.
I think Lamar is another comp. I mean, they've done good things. I mean, they've added Kyle Hamilton's. They've had they add players in Baltimore. That would be one
like
comp.
To go over to that side of the ball.
Yeah. This is where I think Howie has separated himself because you got I think Emirates, that's a good one. The Lions. I mean, I think they traded for Jared Goff and put significant assets around him. Now, it wasn't a draft, but you're right about that one, Emirates.
The Stafford trade ended up helping them a lot.
And another good one is the Rams. I mean, I think they built a pretty good roster around Stafford for the last couple of the last, I don't know, 8 years, 7 years, however long he's been there. So that's a good one. But Eagles are definitely the top dog, I would say, in that regard.
But the Eagles they've gotten better. Would we not agree 23 was more of a position of coaching issues than it was personnel issues? Or do you think it was different? Or do you think it was personnel? I think it was coaching issues.
I think it was coaching. I think it was personnel. I think it was youth. I think it was inexperienced leadership. And I think it was all those things put together. I mean, would Jalen have handled that the same way he would handle that now? Probably not,
No.
And I think he would admit that. I don't think that's a knock on him. I think he would probably say I was a younger quarterback and, we were coming off a high, a major success. So no, I think so. I think that's a fair way to characterize it.
All right, guys, hit the like button, Xander. Let's do some of these super chats here.
All right, let's do it. What's up, everybody in the chat? Devin Shanahan,
you guys.
What'd you say?
We're gonna figure out the mic too after the show, so we apologize for that.
Yeah, I told him to get in 10 minutes early. He comes in 4 minutes early.
I did not. He's a fucking liar. I'm
not lying. I'm 100%.
4 minutes. Did I?
56. Devin Shanahan, member for 8 months. Thank you, Dev. He says, I prefer Burrow style of play over Hurts play style, but Big Z's right. I'll take Jalen's leadership every day over every single current QB style. Well, he's got the aesthetic style. I mean, he throws from the pocket. He's got the big arm. He can throw the ball all over the yard. He spreads the football around. He gets the ball out quick. He does everything you want to do from the quarterback from the pocket. But I do believe the game has evolved past that, where, look at some of the best quarterbacks. I mean, Sills, you just named the top 5 quarterbacks, and I agree with your 5. Maybe not the same order, but the 5. 4 of them are dual threat. 4 of them.
True.
Expand that to the top 10, and you're probably looking at 8 of them, with the exceptions being Stafford and Burrow, or like Baker if you had him in your top 10. Herbert, yeah, he's a little bit less runny. I wouldn't put him as dual threat, but he can run.
He does take off.
Right, he does take off. Baker a little bit too. You got Jaden Daniels, obviously. I mean, this is where I think, Burrow is great from the pocket. There's no doubt about it. He is the best quarterback from the pocket, but is that enough? It's certainly not enough in Cincinnati, but I don't think any style would be enough.
Would you not agree that the Eagles pay Jalen Hurts to go along with how they're building that football team, and Cincinnati, Buffalo, and the rest of these organizations rely way too much on build? And by the way, I think this is a flawed philosophy. I think that if you're counting on Burrow and Allen and Lamar to win you a Super Bowl solely, if that wasn't on display even with Mahomes in this last Super Bowl, that he can't do it by himself, I don't know what else there is to be said. You have to have somebody that's able to go like this. Well, we're going to run the ball this year, and I'm going to have low stats, and I'm not going to really have any numbers, so to speak, and everyone's going to take a shit on me. But you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be sitting with a cigar and a Lombardi trophy in my hand in the locker room while they're all talking shit. And you know what's going to be funny? Me looking at everyone with a cigar and a Lombardi trophy, them talking shit, and me going, not sure what you're talking about. At the end of the day, dude, that picture, all he has to do is put it up and go, you're wrong. I think they ask these other guys to do shit they can't do.
Yeah, it's a good point.
I just don't believe it.
Devin, thank you, brother. Look at Kimberly. Look at this. Kimberly Sirico, $10. He says, this is a great super chat here. Happy birthday to my brother Carmine, who's in the chat. He's the one who told me about this show. Best thing about football for me is it brought us closer together. Love you, Carminucci, and enjoy your day. Happy birthday, Carmine.
Holy cow, what a giddy family that is right there, man. Carmine and Kimberly
Sirico.
Holy cow.
You know their uncle, right? You know who their uncle is, right?
No. No idea.
Come on, man. The guy from The Sopranos, Tony Sirico.
You're kidding me.
Yeah.
He is not. No way.
Yes, it is.
Hey,
she
Kimberly.
said that before. Cecilio, you got a bad memory. It must be the CTE. Kimberly has told us that on the show. That's where we learned.
Kimberly, my Sopranos story.
I love that. Stills, I don't watch TV. The Sopranos is the greatest show in the world. I love The Sopranos.
Okay, so listen. So the head coach of Rutgers, Greg Schiano, was best friends with James Gandolfini. Like best friend. You know, James Gandolfini used to do like promotional spots for Rutgers football. And this is even when Ray Rice was there. He would do it, right? So and Schiano coached at Miami. I said, Tony Saragusa got on The Sopranos. You got to get Big Sills on The Sopranos. So he calls David Chase for me, and they go, yeah, we'll see what we can do. They don't have the other season. They ended in the diner, and that was it. I was going to have a shot at going on The Sopranos, man. I was going to be a mafia guy. I don't know. My brother. Get this. I had James Gandolfini on my show in Tampa back in the day.
Did you, man? That was sad that he died that way.
I know. Died in Rome.
I know. Rome. Yeah. Heart attack in Rome, right? So
how about that, Kimberly? Kimberly, I had James Gandolfini on my show because of Greg Schiano. He loved Rutgers football, dude. He just loved it. I don't know why. Oh, because
happy birthday to Carmine. Happy birthday to Carmine, and he was one of the best characters in Entourage, by the way. Paulie Walnuts. He was a great character.
Paulie Walnuts, man. What a great character.
Yeah, he was a great character. He was awesome.
Hey,
Prince Wade checking in.
Pussy, man. That was good.
That? I know.
That was good, man.
Prince checking in. What up, Prince?
What up, Prince?
He says the Bills traded for Stephon Diggs and had a strong defense featuring a solid 1-2 punch at wide receiver at top tight end. The Bengals, too. The only difference is the O-line. The Eagles invested. I don't know, Prince. I don't think they've done that great, honestly, dude. Yeah, it's not a knock, by the way, on the Eagles. Prince, if anything, it's a good thing for the Eagles.
No. What he wants to do is try to undermine Allen by saying, oh, he's got great.
Well, I don't know, because Allen's one dude who, I mean, even if you look at Allen's playoff losses, like, it's really hard to walk away and be like, boy, that was Josh Allen's fault, you know? Like, you guys remember, I'm sure everybody remembers the famous game.
Now, you walk away with that with Lamar, though, don't you?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Last year, I was very unimpressed. I mean, they lost the AFC Championship game with 3 turnovers or whatever the heck it was. I'm like, well, your quarterback turned the ball over 3 times. Everyone's like, oh, Mark Andrews dropped it. I'm like, I know. And the quarterback also turned the ball over 3 effing times. I mean, if Jalen Hurts did that, we'd have his head on a silver platter, rightfully so.
That's right. I just don't know. I got it.
But I do think the Bills have done decent. I do think they've done decent. But I don't know.
How about the fact that they got the 3rd best O-line in football now? But, dude, I think it's here. I think it's Eagles and everyone else over here playing around. I don't think it's even close right now.
Yeah.
I know.
I agree. Here we go. Kyle Kokorski says, Xander, you taking the JAKIB Sports truck to the Washington game in Washington? I'll be going to that game. I might have to meet you down there, Kyle. Now, I don't think we got no plans, but we do have some bus trips. We're sending some people to some games this year. We do that at Screwballs on Thursday nights. So we might do that. But, Kyle, it should be a good one to be at, man. You can we'll beat up on Jaden Daniels. Hopefully you're not rooting for Jaden because some of your comments make me wonder, Kyle. But it should be a good game to be at, my friend.
Now, wait a minute. I don't root against the Eagles. I do not. I don't root against them. I may think
you just have shit takes.
That's shit takes.
You just have shitty Eagles takes.
No. I do not have shit.
I like be walking around down the shore sometimes, and like people will walk up to me and be like, "Hey, tell Sileo his takes suck." I'm like, "All right, I'll let him know." All right,
yeah. I do dig the hat, dog. I can't lie to you, man. It's one of my favorite fucking things you wear.
What, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, I love this hat. This is my dog. This is my hat for my dog. Yeah. I love this hat.
Yep.
I got a couple of them. Yeah, I love this hat.
I couldn't believe Howard Eskin's an animal guy.
Oh, I knew that. Him and his son.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So Leon checks in. He says, Big Ben, Flacco, Sills is high. Talking about
Big Ben was a 1st-round pick, and so was Joe
2 Super Bowls.
What?
He won 2 Super Bowls.
Great.
How is that not a better pick? How is that not a better pick than Brock Purdy?
What's that?
How is that not a better pick than Brock Purdy?
Aren't you drafting a quarterback in the 1st round to take you to a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Or no?
He did. It worked. Okay.
Are you drafting the last player in the last player in the draft to take you to a Super Bowl?
No, but you didn't win, and you didn't win.
Are
you the classic Sileo? It's all about the money. It's all about the contract. Purdy got a contract.
He paid $50 million for the last pick in the draft. How you doing?
Yeah, it's not the time. It's not. Let me tell you this. Good pick. All right. It is not a top 5 pick of the last 25 years in the NFL.
What's Brock Purdy's record against Hurts and the Eagles? Just curious.
I don't know. I know he lost his ass in the NFC Championship game when we beat him to a pulp.
And he turned around the next year and plastered you in your own building.
Oh, yeah, in the regular season. Good. Congratulations.
I know. I got it.
Sound like the Dallas Cowboys. Well, you might have won the Super Bowl, but remember when we beat you in the regular season that one time? Yeah, I do. Congrats. What, do you have a banner hanging up for it?
Well, let me ask you this. So, how do you think Mayfield has done against the Eagles?
Well, Mayfield's good against the Birds. Is that Mayfield? Or is that what's his name? Todd Bowles.
Todd Bowles, man.
Todd Bowles is the boss.
Todd Bowles, bro.
I'm a Bowles guy. I like Bowles.
Dude, Todd Bowles is the shit, man. He's a really good coordinator, man. He is.
I can't believe you just pulled that crap up with Brock Purdy.
Why not, man? Last player taken. Last player taken. Who's the last player taken on the Eagles in the last couple
Over 5,800.
He even made the fucking team.
Over 5,800 draft selections in the last 25 years.
Name me a better quarterback taken with the last pick in the draft who got a $50 million and an all-pro and a Pro Bowl appearance and a Super Bowl appearance. Name me one guy who was even drafted in rounds 5 down.
Curtis, he had Brady at number 1, so Brady is considered a better pick. I guess Curtis didn't hear your. Yeah, his list was pretty crappy. It was pretty crappy.
I think it's sensational. Aaron Rodgers.
I'm about surprised.
It's iconic and epic.
Sileo thinks his own freaking list is incredible.
I do think it's incredible. Then again, everything they do is incredible.
Yeah, that's why you're shooting. That's why you're batting about 184 from the field.
No. This year, out of the gate so far, I'm like Shohei Ohtani going to the All-Star game.
No, you're not.
Oh, I'm having a great offseason.
No,
my God. Are you crazy, man?
I would say I was Shohei Ohtani last year, but I was a lot better than that. I batted like 800 from the field last year.
I will promise you this. I will hang on my bet on no doubt. And I will say everything that I said a year ago this year about that defense, because you're not repeating what you did a year ago. No fucking way. Even if you brought your dudes back, you weren't doing that. And you got 5 different dudes. There's no way you're duplicating that. No way. I know.
When this team isn't going to be good, I'll let everybody know.
I didn't say not good. I did not say that. I didn't say they weren't going to be good.
18 checks in. What up, 18? $20. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you.
Yo, 18, I was over in your neck of the woods recently, brother. My aunt and uncle live in Lansdale. I know that's out by you. I remember dropping off the jersey to you last year. So I was over in your neck of the woods. I drove by the street and I said, there's my boy Jason 18. I thought of you, brother. He says, Stoutland is the lifeblood of our offense. It doesn't go without him. Best O-line coach in history. PFF ranked Eagles and O-line #1 without knowing the right guard. There's a reason for that. Ringo Starr is going to shine this year. How you doing?
You guys, man.
What a great super chat, by the way. What a great, exceptional super chat.
Hey, Jason, you talk about delusional. Your fucking name and picture are in the dictionary on delusional.
Look, Mo Mommy's still mad at me. Mo Mommy, come on, buddy. You could come on, man. It was a one chirp, and you're still crying. Come on, Mo Mommy.
He does got your number. Hey, Mo Mama. He's got you. He's got your number here, kid.
Oh, man, that's funny. Hey, team. Thank you, my man.
Absolutely.
M. Reyes says, Kyle is Sileo-fied. Not all there, if you get me.
M. Reyes. Seriously, dog.
A little chat on chat crime there, Big Sills.
Oh, my God. Holy cow. Oh, my God.
Cody says, by your logic, then Jordan Mailata should be top 5. Agreed, Cody. He would definitely be on my top 5.
Quarterback is not the quarterback is not a more valuable position than a left tackle.
Okay. It's a better pick.
Okay.
When Jordan Mailata's in the Hall of Fame and Brock Purdy's got an empty trophy case, you'll be saying the same thing. Mark my words. Mark my words.
I know a left tackle is more important than a quarterback.
I never said it was more important. I said it was a better pick.
Who do you think helped get the 49ers to the Super Bowl? Brock Purdy more, or do you think Jordan Mailata helped more the Eagles get to the Super Bowl than Brock Purdy getting his team to a Super Bowl? Use the 22 team if you want, whatever.
Is that the only metric we're going by, though? Because this is going to change.
Oh, wait a minute. It's the only metric Eagle fans use to say that Jalen is better than the other guys in the league.
I'm not ready to put Brock Purdy as one of the top 5 draft picks in the last 6,000 draft picks.
Wait a minute. You want to use a Super Bowl here for a metric. Then you don't. Then you do. Then you do.
Oh, wait.
Put the room here.
There's a ring on Jalen's finger. There's not a ring on Purdy's finger. You know, if you ain't first, you're last.
What does that have to do with who's better?
Well, I'm not saying that. Well, I do think Jalen's obviously better, but I don't think it was a bad pick. I think you're right that it was an exceptional pick and it worked out better than anybody could have imagined. But to say it was a top 5 pick in the last 25 years of the NFL with nearly 6,000 selections, I just can't buy that because he went to the Super Bowl one year.
A better one than that. I'd like to know.
Mailata.
Mailata's not a better pick.
I think Mailata's a better pick.
Because he's the quarterback. What's a more valued position?
Well, no, you love the money. You love that he got the $51 million deal.
What's a more valued position?
I know that obviously a quarterback is a more valued position. Obviously.
Out here. What are we talking about then? Right?
They also went to the Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo.
The quarterback is a more important guy.
Talk about caboose. All right, one more. Look at this super chat. This is hilarious.
Makes 50 like
Rich, you're gonna get me in trouble with this. He goes, Pride Month is over. It's time to take that helmet down, Sills.
Hey, let me help you out there. It's Prince Month. like Pride Month.
Oh my gosh!
Hey, I'll tell you what here, Prince. You're like the dude. I bet you were at the Biden ceremonies with the White House there with all the funny looking columns painted. And you
Pride
were
Month
up there out front, right? Chasing things around, all dressed up like your mom.
Prince 1, Sills none. Prince, good super
Prince,
chat.
tell the truth. Prince, tell the truth. You were dressed like your mom one time in your life.
All right, Big Sills. Good show today, brother.
I love it, man. I appreciate you, Big Z. Make sure you folks check his ass out with John McMullen on Birds 365. Holy cow, man. A lot of fun here. Thanks, Big Z. So I got to tell you, man, my phone's been blowing up all day because of Howard Eskin. So Howard took a shit on his kid, and he took a shit on WIP. He said that he said that WIP is a bunch of honks. And he said that WIP sounds the same. He said the station and everyone's ass kissing over there. So, and John Mamola, who was my program director, now works at Barrett Media, posted this thing on my Twitter. I've got to send this thing to JAKIB. And it's all over the place right now. He took a shit and said this about WIP. Hey, come on, man. WIP's not the same. They have no talent. It's as boring as ever. He goes, "Are my kids there?" I go, "Spike?" I said, "No, this is why they call him the GOAT, Howard Eskin." Now, I believe that G. Cobb worked over there at IP with Howard Eskin. So Gary Cobb, by the way, got his face in the Stanford Advocate. I mean, he's a big old star now, man. I had to send him some pictures because a couple guys sent me some pictures of him. I thought that was Jerry Tyson, maybe Cuckoo Tyson, that was there with him, the kid from Rippewam. I'm not sure who the big guy was, but let's bring his butt up here, man. He's a big media star, man. And
hey, now the media guys would be jumping on you. You start talking about Stanford. They go, "Hey, get off of that Stanford! Nobody know about no Stanford. Get off that stuff." But I know Howard, man. I've known Howard, and I still am around. And some guys, oh boy, they want to take Howard's head off. I'm going, man. Chill out. Let Howard do his job. Howard has got his thing. Why are you going to hate on him? Him doing the guy's doing his job. What are you going to hate on Howard? Now Howard's going to be Howard. The thing is you don't let him get on your nerves. So you don't let him get on your nerves because he wants to get on your nerves.
Oh, he called. I asked him. I go, what do you make of the talent in the state of IP? He goes, bunch of frauds. I go like this, and I go, his kid works there too. So I'm like,
come on.
And I go, Spike aside. He goes, well, I don't call him Spike. He's my kid. And I said, okay. He goes, well, there's about 3 shows on that station that'll put you to sleep. And I go, Howard, there's only 4 shows on that station during the day. So he goes from 6A to 6P. He goes, 3 of the shows I go to sleep on. And I'm going like, man, I mean, okay.
But it has gotten to where you want to see guys.
Is it different, Gary? Is WIP different now than it used to be?
I think in certain ways you can see where they're coaching guys and they have young guys come in there. They coach them. When a guy there gets established, then he can say, "Hey, look, I'm going to do my thing." So they got to give him a little bit more room. But I think some of the guys are so young, they don't have the credibility or the name. It's other than the main guys. The main shows, but they're still kind of coach them too, where they say, hey, we've got this structure that we want you to stay in and everything. And sometimes it gets boring because you can see, because I heard some of you guys, we were talking about the fact that, hey, you get this side, I'll get that side. Wait a minute, man. You don't do that on everything. Okay, you take that side, where you got it planned out so you go on the show.
He said that teaming people up.
Yeah, but somebody
became so phony after a while.
There's no doubt that they're doing some of that.
Sounds forced.
There's no doubt they're doing some of that. But when you got guys there that aren't established, it's just like a team, a football team. If you got a guy there that doesn't have a name where let's say he's had couple double-digit sack seasons.
Yeah.
He tell the dude, man, look, I went inside. I'm gonna go inside sometime. I gotta keep this guy guessing. So the coach can't get on the dude as much. He was like, look, hey, back off me, dude. You know what I mean? But if you don't have those numbers and you haven't done anything, the coach say, look, I want you to hop outside and run on one leg, and you better start running on one leg because, he could get you out of there. So, so that's the way it is, where it seems like you got somebody doing too much coaching,
You know what IP used to sound like this to me. Every single show had a guy with a different opinion and a different spin and a different take.
Yeah.
And I even agreed with Howard. I said, it just sounds all the same. It just sounds like you're in the same room. And it sounds like, again, where my growing up, I grew up WNBC with Stern and then WFAN. And then hearing Howard when we were like, Jones Beach, remember the old 610 stick? You were on that 610 stick.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can hear that in Stanford all the way up the coast because it's a north and south signal.
That's right.
And the station IP just, they're coming up on an anniversary. He's coming up on 40 years this year that he started WIP in one of the first shows in Philadelphia sports. And
that's right.
He just said that, it doesn't sound the same.
Well, the thing that Howard did, and it's something to be said for, which is he's able to give his opinion. If he believes this, like everybody's got a right to their opinion, especially, if, you're talking about the way a guy played or, maybe his attitude, different things. Come on, he got a right to give his opinion. And that's what Howard would do. And see, Howard was one of the first ones that come out and look, he didn't have a problem saying, look, I don't think this guy's any good.
Yeah.
And he would come over to the locker room. He wouldn't be hiding somewhere under something. He said, hey, look, I don't think whatever, and I got to give Howard credit for that because he would come by. He's not going where he's hiding somewhere, And why doesn't he have a right to opinion? Because a lot of times, there were other people that felt the same way. Not everybody agrees. That's the fun of the whole thing. Not everybody agrees with everybody. But, you want guys that'll go out there and genuinely give their opinion,
Absolutely, Gary.
Rather than trying to kiss up to the guy, man, that's not genuine. That's not when you.
It's not genuine, man. I got it, man. Hey, let me go here. Let me get your opinion on this.
Yes.
We've gone over every single angle of what the team did in the offseason, what it looks like, maybe what they'll look like come September 4th against the Cowboys in the opener, what have you in the first four. Are there any teams, in your opinion, that will give them a challenge in the NFC this year? And let me say this to you, Gary, also, and let me add this. I think the Eagles have backed up as a roster because of the losses. These guys may step in, Gary, and they may absolutely take the baton and run like they did a year ago.
They may.
My take is we still don't know. There's no certainties there. So
That's right.
I don't know if the league has caught them enough. What's your spin on that?
Yeah, we're going to find out because they got a tough schedule, and when I'm looking at the schedule,
it's the fourth toughest schedule in the league.
Yeah, I can see. Now, the thing that, I was telling you about a team that I know that I didn't like seeing that team in there. They're right in the middle of it. This team has given them trouble. It's given Jalen trouble. Their head coach, who's the defensive coordinator, gives them. I'm talking about Tampa. Tampa has given these guys problems. They got a quarterback who seems to play with confidence against the Eagles. He's going to make his throws, and he's got some good veteran receivers he's throwing the ball to.
Mike Evans.
And, those guys. But Mike Evans, a guy's going to. Who's a professional pass catcher. The guy's going to run his route.
They got the kid from Ohio State, Amiko Buko. The tight end's not bad also.
That's right. And they played well against the Eagles, meaning that they have, especially they have played well against them. I think they're like 3-1 against
absolutely
against Jalen. So I saw them early in the, I think they're either I think maybe their fourth game or whatever. And I said, oh boy, it's important. The Eagles got to get off to some type of a good start.
And Gary, they're down there again. It's down there again.
Come on. I'm telling you, that's why I was looking at it and said, you know what? This is gonna be a tough game for them, see, because they have not played well against these guys. Now, it would be such a shot in the arm for them to go down there and beat them.
Yeah.
Because the Eagles, this group here, they've done everything. I mean, they of course they won in the Super Bowl last year and everything. But if they don't start out fast, see, you got that. Like I said, you know this is going to be a tough game, you know, because they're going to come in with confidence because they played well against the Eagles. You know, they say, hey, we can beat these guys. I don't care if they won a Super Bowl. We've beaten these guys. You know, and even to say to the point, hey, we own these guys. Start talking like that. But of course, the Eagles have the type of players to where they should be able to go down there, but they haven't done it yet. You know,
how about with Reddick too? Reddick's on that Bucs team now. You think he's not going to have an ass?
Come on.
And how much money he cost them, and how much money they cost him, and a ring.
Come on. Every morning he's waking up and he's running and doing drills and stuff. You know who he's thinking about.
He's thinking about Game 4.
Hey, you beat me to that because I wrote that down too. All this looks like, hey, you better strap it up when we go down here to these guys. We better strap it up, you know. And the whole thing with the heat, you know, it's going to be hot.
Oh,
so in the season, it's going to be hot.
September, you bet.
So, you know, that's going to be fun though because it is going to be an early challenge for them. Now, hopefully, you know, they've gotten off to a good start because, see, if they lose one of those other games, see, you know, you got to play Kansas City. Now, what do you think Kansas City's been thinking about all season? Who? Now, what team do you think Kansas City's saying, I'm thinking of who we got payback, who we're looking for. Come on. They've been training all offseason thinking about the Eagles. And they look, I mean, they got them the second game of the season. And
with 5 new starters on defense, Philly.
Yeah, that's right. 5 new starters. That's right. You got guys that are not normally out there.
In Arrowhead.
Hey, they got to win the Dallas game, man. That's what it's basically telling me right now. You guys got to win that Dallas game. Go down there, a team you should beat. You should go down there. Okay, so, I mean, they're going to play it up here, but they beat Dallas. Okay, now at least you got one win. Okay, now you know Kansas City's going to be a good game. So,
you get the Rams next after that.
Hey, the Rams played them better than anybody else.
Oh, yeah. Toughest competition in the postseason was by Los Angeles.
The Rams clearly had a chance to win that game. Okay. So, you know, you stack it all up and you go, this is gonna be a fun start. This is gonna be they cannot come out here waltzing around.
Can they define the season in the first 4 weeks with Dallas, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Rams, and the Bucs? Those are your first 4 weeks games.
Yeah.
Get this, all teams that made the postseason except Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, can it be defined right there?
Hey, when I saw it, I'm standing there looking at this and I'm saying, okay. Now, I don't think it's going to define the whole season and everything because this is a veteran team. Come on, they have won. So even if because look at last year, they got off to a 2-2 start. They got back up, okay? But we don't want to go through that, okay? Do we want to seeing them 1-2? Come on, man. We don't want to see them 1-2. Hey, and then going down to Tampa? No, we don't want that, man. That's not a good start. But is there a possibility? Come on. Is there a possibility? I mean, could they lose to Kansas City? Well,
absolutely.
I can't believe they lost to Kansas City. Nah, that's going to be a tough game. We know that.
Yeah.
Right? And then the next week, you got a tough game. See? So and then you got to play Tampa, which you know, like I said, has they've had them. So that's why this is going to be a fun start. And they don't need to be waltzing, man. You know, hey.
Gary, then after that, in week 5, you've got the Broncos who have the 3rd best offensive line or the 2nd best, according to PFF, offensive line. And you've got 2 new starters.
Yeah.
On your defensive front, you've got 2 new starters in your secondary.
Yeah.
Is the key to defense this year?
Is the key to the season the defense?
The defense.
I think without a doubt. I think that to me that is because we expect in the offense, they got veteran players. They played together a while. They got a new coordinator, but this guy has been here. It's not somebody to bring it in. No, this guy's been here. I'm expecting good things out of the offense. The defense is what I look at, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out, and that means we're looking at young players, man. And with all due respect, I mean, I love playing with all players. You play, but you look over and it's got a rookie standing next to you. You go, this rookie, and you can look at the kid and you see the kid don't know what he's doing.
Gary, is it more so this here? It's not that you have a problem with rookies being in a starting lineup. It's 5 new starters.
Yeah, it is. You're right.
The volume for me is too high. I mean, now look,
that's a lot.
I asked this question earlier, and I'll ask you.
Mm-hmm.
With all the coaches that they have on that staff between Vic Fangio and Jeff Stoutland,
yes,
who do you think is the most valuable coach between those two guys? Is it Stoutland or is it Vic? The face of the team is the O-line. It's not the quarterback. I mean, of all the position groups in the league, the Eagles have the best position group with that O-line, linebackers, running backs, receivers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you got Devontae Smith and AJ, and the O-line group is still better. It's the top group in all pro football. And then you got Vic that has to move these pieces around and find a Rubik's Cube again.
That's right.
Who, in your opinion, is really the most valuable coach there?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is with the, that's tough to say because it depends. I could look at it and say, okay, who's the best coach, looking at it from the level that they play at, and I had to give that to the offensive line, But if I'm looking at at the job, if he does the job he did last year, I have to give it to Vic because I look at where that group came from, the way they started out and what they wound up, because they wound up being just about the best defense in the NFL. They're playing in the playoffs, the Eagles defense, but they started out so bad that you wondered if that defense is going to wind up getting them eliminated and letting them get to the playoffs, but probably getting eliminated in the playoffs because the defense was playing so poorly.
Gary,
but Vic did a great job with them. What
do you think Vic Fangio's greatest asset is that he brings to a defense when he's constructing, putting it together? Is it his play calling, in-game situation play calling? Is it his feel for the game? Is it his feel for players? I know you can make all of that, but what is the number one thing that separates him? Maybe what Jim Johnson had back in the day.
Well, I tell you, I think it's his teaching, because there are times I'm out there, and it's after practice, and I see him over there with the kid, and he's explaining it. He's breaking it down. In fact, he had Jahad Campbell, the number 1 pick, who hadn't been able to really get out there, but he's taking him through the drops. He's explaining, his priorities when he's dropping. What is he looking at? He's showing, he's dropping, what he's eyeing, that he's got to see the quarterback, but he's also got to see these receivers and have a feel for where they're at and everything. And Vic is a great teacher. Last year, that's what happened last year. These kids, Cooper DeJean, come on, you're going Cooper who?
Cooper who? Absolutely.
Hey, but the way he had him developing and Mitchell, the way he developed them as the season went along, magnificent. I mean, by the end of the season, you can see them talking, and they know about the routes.
But Gary, that's also the guys that they bring in with the football IQ. Because I was explaining this to people.
Yeah.
The reason that you have 1 billion OTAs, you have a coach that'll do this. All right, we're gonna play a 3 technique. We're gonna go in base. It's gonna be wide side. You're going to run a twist. You're going to run banjo too high.
Yep.
Cover 6, hike. And you're going, as a rookie, you're doing what? You look at the Mike linebacker, right? Turn around and look at Gary Cobb and go, is that a 3 technique or 1 technique? Hike. It's over. And you go like this, and you're looking at me going, get in your playbook. Those guys didn't have those moments a year ago, which was insane, right?
Well, they had them early. You know. But
2-2, you're right.
But they did a great job of teaching. And by the end of the season, like I said, you could see them communication. During the Super Bowl, they're talking. And, you know, they just had Kansas City to the point where they were locking down. There was nowhere to go with the ball, you know. And they're making them, he's back there patting the ball. You can see when the quarterback's back there, he's looking here. No, yeah. He's got to go through different options. And they're doing that, and they're giving that pass rush a chance to get there. But the big thing that they did the same thing versus the run. You know, they made the adjustments. What they taught them, this is the way we stop the running game. And all those kids, like I said, with a lot of the young guys. Now this year, I look at, you know, Jalex Hunt, Moro Ojomo. You know, these guys haven't started any games. You know, they got to step in. And they got to play. You know, you're going to have one of the safeties. It could be Andrew Makuba. He's a rookie from Texas. Kid has not played in pro game.
No.
You know, he might have to start. And I saw they were working him in as the dime linebacker. You know, where when they go six DBs, you know, they had him playing some of the dime. You know,
really?
Yeah, they did. They're already doing that because. See, the thing is, they got Cooper DeJean moving all over the place. They got him playing, you know, nickel, of course, but they got him playing corner some too. He's lining up at corner, you know, because he's a very talented guy. You know,
do you think you're going to see Cooper go like this? Safety, nickel, corner, depending on the game situation.
That's right.
Do you think that that's what Vic is doing this year with this group versus last year's group, where he might feel he's got more versatility this year, maybe not more experience, but if I could put Makuba down there in the dime, I could put him over in the safety or in the corner spot here because we may not believe too much in Sidney Brown. Sidney may come on and play. Yeah. But again, you drafted a safety for a reason. When you had a guy, Sidney Brown, coming off an injury, you're kind of not sure.
Well, you know,
so you think there's more versatility maybe this year than they even had a year ago.
No doubt. And they feel like, you know, with Cooper, they feel comfortable. They can put him on anybody one-on-one. They can ask him to go up and tackle people if they run the ball and everything. So they feel that they can put him anywhere. And I could see that they were already working on doing that over there at the practice during the offseason, that they're going to be moving him around. They're going to be showing a lot of different looks. You know, and I don't know all what they do, but I can imagine, you know, there's going to be some blitzes in there too. And because Cooper is very comfortable tackling people. We saw that last year.
Who's a better player, Cooper or Q?
Well, you know, Q is a lockdown corner. Is better, but Cooper is a more rounded player. I mean, he's very comfortable coming up tackling people. We saw that last year. He's a good cover guy. I wouldn't say, like I said, I would give Mitchell the edge when it came to just one-on-one locking down whatever receiver. But Cooper his skills are he could play the whole football. He's a football player. He could do the whole thing, you know, and that's what they're going to let him do. They're going to use his individual talents, and you can see they're going to move him around, and there's no telling where he's going to be playing at. And if a team gets caught up where they think they can look at him and find out where he's at, they're going to be mixed up because one time he's playing this position, another time he's playing that position. And the other thing is he's smart. He's a smart football player. And so he knows what everybody's doing. And I can see where he's talking. We're interviewing him, talking to him, and he's talking about, hey, what the nose is doing. He's talking about what the linebackers are doing. See, because already had to learn some of that playing nickel. but he knows the whole game, and you're going to see that some this year, and through his career, this kid's going to play everywhere. Because
how about this, Gary?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who do you think is the most important person on that defense this season? Is it Zach? Is it Jalen Carter? Is it Cooper DeJean?
That's a good one. I think, well, till I see what else is going on up front, I have to say Jalen Carter, because till I see,
he sets the tone, right? He sets the tone.
He sets the tone, because I don't know if these other guys, can they give consistent heat coming from outside or inside? Can Moro Ojomo, now if Moro Ojomo can go in there, and when he's one-on-one, we know this guy's not going to be able to block him that long. If you know that every time we're going, well, you see the doubling Jalen Carter, Ojomo's going to be coming free in not too long. If we know that, then okay, that takes some pressure off of Jalen. See, but if they don't find somebody, and see, I also want to see what this kid Ty Robinson. He's a big kid. The kid they got from Nebraska. He's a big kid who's athletic. I can see he can move.
You think he's the swing tackle?
He could give him some help. I don't. We're going to see whether he's whether he has the skills to rush the passer. But I see athletically, he does have the athletic ability, because you can see he's quick, for a big guy. And so I could see where they're interested in seeing whether they can get some help out of him.
Who do you think has more upside, Jalix Hunt or Nolan Smith?
Well, Jalix Hunt, he has looked good out there in camp and everything, but he hasn't been out there enough. So I have to go with Nolan Smith. Nolan Smith got 4 sacks in the playoffs. That's the most important time of the year. Nolan Smith got 4 sacks in the playoffs last year. So,
do you think that, Nick, Vic had an influence, it looks like, on almost every single player? Zach Vaughn's career, Jalen Carter's career, hell, even Jordan Davis's play got better because of what Vic Fangio.
And that's why I say he's a great teacher, because all of the players, because I get a chance to talk to them, they're getting smart. They're smarter football players, and the kids understand the game. You can see the way they're talking. The kid understands what he's doing, and so, for that matter, you mentioned Nolan Smith. You can see he understands what he's doing when he's rushing the passer, and how he's got to make sure he stays low. He's attacked these guys. He uses his ability to get low coming around that corner. He knows the lower he can get coming around that corner, if he can do that with speed, all these big guys, it negates all their size and everything advantage. Because if he's low coming around that corner on this pass rush, it puts them, they don't like it. Those big guys don't like that.
No.
When you're coming down, you're almost on the ground, and he's coming down there fast, coming around that corner.
Yeah, he's running the hula hoop.
That's right. They don't like that. But so that's why, as a teacher, and it's not really just Vic. It's all of the defensive coaches. And I'm surprised more of them, people weren't come snapping them up.
Ken Hart, Bobby King, Christian Parker.
All those guys have done a great job. They're great teachers, and this team and the defense got smarter as the season went along, to where when they got to the playoffs, guys are playing smart football, and you can't say enough about that. And that's so I give give a lot of credit to the defensive coaches that they have, and Vic's ahead of them, so he gets a lot of the credit. But I'm really interested in seeing what they do, because Ty Robinson. Is he going to be able to help him? Jihad Campbell, I see he's up and he's moving pretty good now. The number one.
You think he'll be ready for the season?
I don't know. I think he is. I do think he's. I think he's going.
Where do you think he plays? Off-ball linebacker, or do you think he plays more? Do you think they throw him out on edge, or do you think he starts in the middle?
Well, I think he's starting in the middle. I can see the way they're teaching him and where they've had him, on the drills and what he's doing. He went in on for a few snaps. He's playing off-ball linebacker, so they're making sure that he knows what he's doing there. I guess they feel like if he's going to rush the passer, he goes up there. There's not a lot to learn, But at the linebacker position, there's a lot for him to learn. So, but Makuba, We'll see if he's out there or Sidney Brown, whoever wins that spot there with those safeties. That's going to be very interesting. That's going to have a lot to do with how they do.
They're not happy at safety that they possibly bring Justin Simmons in.
I think they would if they're not happy with what they see. Probably they are. That's probably something that they might be holding the door open for. Yeah.
We talked about something earlier in the program, and the morning show brought up, they brought up the Corey Stringer thing, and as you know, because they were talking about how training camp used to be, and you and me, Gary, when we talk about the training camp of today, I want you to give these folks, like I said this is what I said. I go, you get up in the morning, and let me just tell you this, nobody asked for water ever because it was a cowardly thing to do. You just didn't do it. You barely got it.
That's right.
I mean, you got maybe 2 water breaks for a full 2-hour practice, and you went 2.5 hours of practice in 2 days, and you did that for 2.5 months.
That's right.
The reason why guys came in out of shape was because you needed that weight to survive, because it was so tough. But I mean, so when you and me talk like this, I said this, I go, I look back on that and I go, man, that was a different world and a different guy. I don't know how I survived it. I mean, and you, God, went through, not counting your college days, you went through at least 13 of these things. Like, I mean, Gary, just different.
I go through it like, basically, I remember with Buddy, we had some guys that were leaving. I'm going, I got bills to pay, man. I'm not going anywhere. I said, he's not running me off anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about. When the guy said, these are guys that I have played with him. He's leaving. No, you leaving?
Leaving where? Where you going?
Like, man, I ain't leaving, man. Forget that. Because he was running us, but see, the thing is, some of the guys, they weren't ready for it, They weren't ready for it because Buddy he was tough. I mean, the way he was pushing the linemen, but it wasn't easy, and anytime when you're out there, especially the way it's hot up here now, it's up in the 90s. They're going to get some 90s days, It's going to be tough on these guys because it's going to be hot, man. It's going to be up in the 90s, 100s, and they got that equipment on. But the thing is, those guys are out there for 45 minutes.
Come on, man.
I mean,
45 minutes?
Hey, and part of that time,
they're milling around.
And if it gets that hot, they're going to cut back even on that. They might be out there 15 minutes.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you, they don't have anything to worry about because they don't really put them through it. But back during that time, you just had to lock your brain out and say, okay, all right, I'm not even going to go over there on that side to think about leaving anywhere. Look, brain, you can't even think of something that's stupid.
Hey, Gary, here's the biggest nightmare. So you get your shit done, you throw it in your laundry bag, you go back the next day, and you're in the middle of camp and your shoulder pads are still soaking wet, and you're like, man, I just put those bitches there. And that little drip that used to come out of your helmet and hit your forehead from the earlier practice, you're sitting there going like, my God, man, how in the world? I swear to God, this sounds like, oh, man, get off my lawn. But, I mean, you know what? I think it's better today, right? I guess it's better. It's safer. It was so overdone. I mean, Gary, we couldn't even ask for fucking water.
That's the thing. Hey, I was with some other guys. They were talking about, man, they wouldn't even let us drink water, man.
Water.
They were going to, hey, you guys, get out of here with all that water. Going like,
no, you don't need water. We're like, you've only been out here 2.5 hours. I'm sweating.
And they even be saying, if I see that water guy over here one more time, I'm gonna fire. I'm gonna get you out of here. You're gonna be gone. I see one of you water guys over. Water.
Hey, I gotta tell you this because you got traded, Jimmy. So look, Gary got traded. I remember he was my locker partner in Thousand Oaks. He was sitting next to me. I had Ed over here on this side, and Gary goes, "It's just been traded. You went to the Eagles," and I went like this. I go, I remember we walked out. Jimmy Johnson's first 2 days. He goes, we'll never practice here ever again. It's like a country club. And you went to Buddy Ryan's camp right after that. Holy shit, Gary. I mean, you went from that where it wasn't really anything because it was nice weather to Buddy Ryan's camp. What was his camps like?
Well, Buddy's camps, we're definitely places where he's going to find out who wants to play. That's what he said. He wants to find out who wants to play. And so, but you come to love Buddy. Buddy's a great guy, but he definitely would, he'd find out, like I said, what's inside you, how bad you wanted to play, but the big thing is you had to come there in shape, man.
Hey, Mike Singletary told me this. He said when he had him in training camp up in Chicago, he'd go 50.
Yeah.
Hey, 50. Let me tell you, man.
That's right. He call you by your number. Yeah.
He go 50. What are you doing here, 50? You'll never play it down here for us. And Mike Singletary told me, he just goes, I just couldn't please this guy. I mean, and finally he came up to me because he would do this kind of stuff to everybody, I heard.
Yeah, he
would come up to somebody and go, hey, if you listen to me, you're going to be a great ball player. Just, you got to listen to me. And he would kind of like build you back up again.
Well, the thing is, he would even have you in there in his office. He'd come and close the door, and then he's really being, he's telling, hey, look, now I got to push you. You're not going to be on, but yeah, you're doing a great job. Really like what you're doing with this and that and everything. You're going, it's the same guy but he's making sure he pushes his players. He's pushing guys, but he will occasionally he'll let you know that, hey, look, he appreciates what you're doing, and he's got that other side,
Hey,
but,
I want to tell you a Jerome Brown story. I got to tell you these. So
he loved Jerome, man. He and Jerome on. Yeah.
So I got released by the Bucks. I got signed a couple weeks later by the Cowboys, but so they flew me up to Philadelphia. I didn't realize what a shitty locker room you guys had underneath the stadium. Yeah. I walk in there, there's shit dripping down. There's like cats and rats everywhere.
Yeah,
this thing looked terrible.
That was that old locker room. You better believe it, man. You got to be ready. There's going to be some.
So I go out, animals I work out with the D-line coach, everything. They got a contract in front of me. Seriously, I'm ready to sign with the Eagles, man. And Buddy Ryan comes walking in. And you guys it was a Tuesday because this is when they, So Buddy walks in. Jerome, I guess it was a Monday night game. You guys shit the bed against the Giants. And Jerome had lazy game or something.
Yeah.
And so Jerome goes, let's go see Buddy. So we go, Buddy Ryan turns and looks right at me and goes, I know who you are. You think I want another one of this guy around here? What are you? I know who you are. I coached you down at Miami when I went down there in '86, right? I know who you are. This fat ass had nothing to do on Monday night, so I sat his ass. Get this guy out of my face. I looked at the gym. I went, what the fuck is that? Yeah. And I went like this. I go, what is this? And he goes, oh, my God. I mean, hey, he kicked his ass because he thought Jerome laid down on a Monday night.
He really would put pressure on guys like, he knew that Jerome, Reggie, and everything, they were the key to the defense, because anytime they get one-on-one and they needed them to beat their man, get to the quarterback, make plays. So he kept pressure on them. But most of the time, those guys pushed themselves, but maybe there was some times they didn't. So, but
Jerome had a propensity to take plays off.
That's right. We know that.
Okay, he turned to Seth or you would look around and go like this. Hey, I'm gone. I'm gone. You're gone. What's that mean? You're gone. I'm running around the block. That's what you mean. That's what you're doing.
Jerome like those third and longs. He was looking for those third and longs. That's what he looked. Third and long. All of a sudden, he comes. If he could be over on the sideline. He is third and long. Hey! I got to get back in there. So,
did you think Mike Coffey was underrated as a player during that era? Because you had Swilling in that era. Mm-hmm. You had Lawrence Taylor obviously in that era. There were so many great outside linebackers. Biscuit, Cornelius Bennett played in Buffalo. was an outside linebacker. Was Mike Cobb? I heard really great things about him in Detroit, that he was a really great player. Was he? Do you think he was? Do you think he was underrated?
I think he was. We really had him playing defensive end. That's really what he played, and he was a young guy. He reminds me of some of the guys they've had come through here with the Eagles, but he's really fast, and he had to learn how to stay up under the offensive tackles who he's playing with and use his speed. There's similarities, with Smith, in that, he and Nolan Smith had some similarities, and they were basically undersized. Kofor was really light, man. He had to try to put on some weight, which wasn't the easiest thing for him. He could run all day, and he had that speed around the corner where if it was just a foot race around the corner, he's going to get to the quarterback. But the thing is, he had to get better, with his techniques and things and not getting blown out, because sometimes he's so small he get blown out.
2 last questions for you. Are we underestimating the loss of Mekhi Becton? I mean, the guy was on the football team that had last year 2,700 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And I'm just to assume that all of a sudden that's going to be – I get Jeff Stoutland. I understand there's been a rotating piece there at the right guard position, but
that's right.
Are we underestimating the loss of Mekhi Becton?
Well, I think, they feel good about Tyler Steen, but the thing about Becton, man, Becton is big as the tackles, if not bigger.
6'8", 6'9".
Huge. And he did a great job, just washing guys away and everything. So, they talk Steen up, but I wouldn't be surprised if some of the guys they got who are playing tackle right now, some of the young kids they have, who they might move in and give them a shot at that right guard.
I hear they like the Hinton kid.
Yeah. Because, they want somebody with that type of size. See, they were so big and imposing. The last time they just wash guys away so much. And then, of course, Saquon's able to cut back, man. And how many of those long 60-yard runs did he make where he made one cut and boom, he's gone? And Becton, just with the thing was, he was just killing linebackers, man. Just mauling people to where the guys are, if the guy's not on his feet, he's not making too many tackles. And Becton was really, he brought a physical, just an anger and a passion of knocking people on their butt. And I think that made that line, took it to another level.
Last one here for you, Gary. Saquon Barkley, am I really to believe that we're going to see another 1,500+ yard season after a 480 carry season? Counting the playoffs, he was over 480 touches.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know about you, but for a guy that's been injured 3 of the last 6 years, and to come off that workload, you're going to put another 4. You're going to have over 880 carries for that guy in 2 years.
See, I don't expect it to be at that level, but he has been resting. He hasn't been working out as hard. He really took some time off and everything, because he said he wants to kind of freshen himself up and everything. But I do think they're going to be running the ball still, because I see what they're talking about with the utilizing the fullback. They're going to be using some fullback this season. You can see they're going to be, Ben Van Sumeren. They're going to have him doing that. So they're thinking about running the ball. I think that they're comfortable doing that, but I expect them to pass the ball a little more, with play action and really giving Jalen a lot of chances, which they did last year, which is call the play at the line of scrimmage, see what you see, and then. But I don't see him running the ball as much. Now he's still going to be running it a lot, But I think that they're going to try to keep him as fresh as possible.
Could they offset it by running? Could they offset it more by running RPO? Could they do that? Because he's the second best back on that team next to Saquon Barkley. Could you see more of that being implemented back into the offense?
I could see more of that. That's clearly one of the weapons that they have. You see Jalen numerous times, even last year, he took off on key times when everybody's all over Saquon and he keeps the ball booming, he's got a key first down that they need. So I think you're going to see some of that. And they basically put the call in Jalen's hands, which he comes to the line of scrimmage and he's calling the play. And you can see last year, there were numerous times when he called the play and about a second after he handed him the ball, he did this, because he knew Saquon is gone, man. And that's because I think, and this is where I think Jalen doesn't get as much credit as possible, is that he's got to make that call. He's got to be comfortable knowing what this defense is and which way they're going to run this play. And he had a lot to do with the success of the running game because he's calling the play at the line of scrimmage. They've given him an option, so that he's calling the play. And so he's got to know what he's doing. Of course, Saquon's got to know what he's doing. And the line, everybody's got to be, on the same page. And they did that a lot last year where they had those check with me's at the line of scrimmage. And, they ran plays, and a lot of them were those long touchdowns were plays where they called it against that specific defense. And once they got into it, then it was off to the races for Saquon. But I don't see how they could run him as much as they did last year. But because, and the thing is, we got wide receivers on the team. And what do wide receivers want? They want the football. They want the football. So I think that they're definitely, going to throw the ball more than they did last year. They've got to.
How many games will it take for AJ to melt down if he doesn't get his? How many books will he? By the way, maybe I should ask this question: how many books do you think that guy will go through on the sidelines this year? What be 4, 5 books on the sideline?
Hey, I don't know any wide receivers that aren't like that. They want the ball, man. They want the ball. But I give AJ a lot of. AJ made a lot of big blocks for Saquon last year. He made a lot of big blocks. So
I'll tell you what, though,
he wants that ball.
Joe Theismann on the program went like this. So, what's he reading? War and Peace? I mean, what's going on over there? I mean, holy cow, the guy's not engaged. He doesn't care about it.
Now that was quite a move for him to do that. Bring a book out there like that, though.
Yeah, and a really smart book too. Like really a thinking book, like he's Rogan or something. I'm out there and I'm like, holy cow, this guy's going through the intellectual process of everything in life. Yeah, and he's reading that on the sidelines. That really takes a lot of concentration when you have to read a book like that.
AJ, I don't think we need to see the book anymore, man. We don't need to go down that road anymore. But I do think they're going to get the ball more. I think they're going to throw the ball a little more. But people are going to have to stop their running game. They're not going to do them any favors and not give Saquon the ball, a lot. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to carry it quite as much. But we'll see.
So you're big Stanford Advocate star now, right? You had your picture in the.
Oh boy!
I thought the pictures were great. Tom sent me those pictures, man.
Yeah. Nice pictures.
That was the event you were at the other day. It looked pretty dope, man.
Yeah, it was nice pictures, But
do you still have family up there?
Yeah, I still got family up there.
You still got family?
My brothers and sisters, they're still up there. Yeah. So I go up there, going to see the family and everything, and they come down here sometime. But yeah, I still got family up there.
I stay in touch with her.
You know how many cousins I got? Oh my goodness!
Oh my God! Stanford. You kidding me, man? Top family in Stanford. You could start a hoop team. Hey, I stay in touch with Ernie.
Yeah. Oh, okay? Good deal. Yeah.
He's out in Arizona.
That's right. He's out in Arizona. That's right. But Ernie's still going. He's doing good.
Yeah. No, he's a coach. I stay in touch with him. He flies under the radar, but I'm like, hey, dog, John Smith broke your record, all-time leading scorer in Stanford school history, man. You were at Stanford High School. I know all about you, Cobb.
That's right. That's right. Well, yeah. Ernie's doing well, though. He's doing well. He's chilling. He's on the chill.
Yeah, I guess. Hey, Gary, thank you, brother. I love you very much. Hey. I so appreciate you doing this. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
You got it. Gary Cobb, man. Love talking to G Cobb. Yeah. So like I told you guys, like last week, after we had G Cobb on, I sent Ernie Cobb a text. I don't, Ern. He's like, good, man. You know, you're one of the very few people that still stay in touch with me. I'm like, what do you mean, man? You're a Stanford legend, man. And I got a text from somebody because they watched the show and they go, you know, Cobb was involved in that point shaving scandal, with the BC point shaving scandal with the mob. I go, well, I know he was. So I'm like, so he's like, yeah. I go, Ernie Cobb's a good guy, man. I know Ernie Cobb since I was 15 years old. Maybe younger. I've known Ernie Cobb when he got caught up in that point shaving scandal. It was crazy. I never forget it because it was all with like Henry Hill and all that whole thing with Goodfellas. Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy. He's really a great guy, though. Yeah, I don't think he'll do too many shows, but it'd be great to have Ernie Cobb on and talk about that one day, because that's one of the greatest sports scandals of all time. I mean, just insane. All right, folks. Our great friends at Morgan & Morgan. We love them very much. With over $30 billion recovered, the number one injury law firm in America is number one for a reason. You know what that is? It's because they win. By the way, they don't get paid unless you win. If you're injured in an Uber, if you're injured where an insurance company doesn't give you proper restitution, if you've had a catastrophe like you saw with the homes being burned in Los Angeles or North Carolina, or what you're seeing also in Texas, Morgan & Morgan is there to protect you. I know John and Ultima Morgan, who built this company 25 plus years ago, and this is all about family. It's family run. So when you see all these other guys on the tube talking about how they're going to take care of you, what don't you want to go with the person that's number one and that constantly wins? When they see the Morgan & Morgan logo, they know this. That represents winning. Do me a favor. Check them out by logging online, by going to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Big Sales, hit the like button. Appreciate you guys. Get those likes up here, man. We appreciate it. We're getting closer to the start of the season. People will be rolling back in here. We can't wait. We are 14 days out from the start of training camp, and we are also 4 days out from the Chargers starting the NFL season by going to training camp here. I want to start this out, and, how many people in here believe that I'm hard on Jalen Hurts? How many people think I'm hard on him? I don't have any disrespect for Jalen Hurts and what he's accomplished at all. I think his journey and his accomplishments have been great. I think they've been absolutely sensational. Hey, David, do you think that Nick Saban gave Jalen Hurts tough love? Do you think that? I absolutely love Hurts' journey. And just because I think another player is better than him doesn't mean I don't respect him. Or I don't respect his journey. I think that's what you guys think that I do, that I don't respect Jalen Hurts' journey. It's the furthest thing from the truth. He wasn't expected to be a starter. You don't draft quarterbacks in the second round thinking they're going to be starters. They thought he'd be a caboose. If they thought that highly of him, they would have taken him in the first. Right? Well, they drafted him as a caboose, did they not? They didn't draft him to be a starter. You just gave the guy, Wentz, $33 million annually. How could you think he was going to be a starter? Yeah, they wanted him to be more like a gadget guy. Get this. Well, the Eagles were wrong too. So were the Eagles. They were wrong too. If they thought that highly of him, they'd have took him in the first round. Would they not have? They did. They thought he was a gadget player. Did the Eagles flip-flop on Hurts? They'll tell you now, revise history and lie to you. But if they thought that highly of him, they didn't. How many people in here believe that the New England Patriots drafted Tom Brady with the 199th pick to be the starter in New England when they just gave Drew Bledsoe a $107 million deal? How many people believe that? Nobody in their right mind would believe that. Get this. You can man up and admit you were wrong about him, right? Being a starting quarterback and a winning quarterback, yeah. He's not my favorite quarterback, and he's not the best talent I see in the league. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing at all. I'm not building my team around him. See, here. The Eagles have built a team that Jalen has fit in. The Buffalo Bills and the Bengals are building a team around their quarterback and his strengths. Do you understand the difference? Buffalo builds the team around the quarterback's strength. Philly builds the team around the quarterback's weakness. The passing game. There's a difference. Again, it's just My opinion. And it's factual. Now, again, here, I love the journey. The Eagles started him, though. I'm not sure what that means. There's a clip of you saying he wouldn't be starting in 3 or more years this season. Were you wrong? Yes. I said the same thing about Lamar. But here you got to remember something. I'm happy to be wrong about that. I'm not rooting against players. My takes aren't rooting against you. It's an opinion. By the way, once again, buddy, the Eagles didn't draft your guy to be the starter. They flip-flopped on him too. Right? Right? I mean, facts. So you give Carson Wentz $33 million annually, second richest deal in the history of the league, and you draft Jalen Hurts in the second round. They never thought he was going to be the starter. They thought he was going to be a caboose. Right? Right? Just so we're fair here. They flip-flop too. I'm going somewhere with this. I'm going to show you something here. So I guess, I was made aware of this today. A radio host, and by the way, as Howard and I were talking, the lack of talent in the radio game today, especially in sports talk, is so bad that it blows my mind. And, when we consolidated radio a couple of years back, talking 15 years ago, it was the end of developing local radio. I won't lie to you guys. The stuff that's on IP, and when you can hire a guy like Bill Colorulo, it just shows you that there's not a lot of talent in today's sports talk. It's just not. It's not very good. It's a state of the game. So there's a guy in Kansas City that took a shot at Patrick Mahomes. I guess Mahomes had his body. He's got a dad body, and I guess he was on a boat or a yacht or something, and he was showing his dad body, and it's a horrible body, by the way. Okay? And it's just terrible. And he's got a fat gut, and he just doesn't look the role. So this radio guy starts taking a shit on him. Look at Patrick Mahomes. He's not committed to the game. Look at his body. I think it's embarrassing. And you're like, wait a minute now. Hasn't Patrick Mahomes been to 3 straight Super Bowls? Hasn't he been to 4 and 5 years? Every year he's been the starter, he's been in the AFC Championship game. And I'm just trying to figure out something here. How is that not a resume of commitment to the game? I don't give a shit he looks like a fat ass. Who cares? So this guy took his, okay, so he's fat. Okay. Fat guy Mahomes. Okay. And does he win? Yeah. How many MVPs does he have in the Super Bowl? 3? Yeah. Okay. And he's fat. Okay. And he's a fat guy. I'm still trying to figure out what we're arguing over here. So I had a guy. I had a guy. Okay, and I had a guy tell me this guy was ripping him. Okay, and I'm going like, what are you ripping? If you're gonna rip somebody, Howard Eskin is watching the show now. We got Howard watching the show. Thank you, Howard. You're an inspiration to me, and me being a sports talk guy. And I appreciate that. He goes, Angelo's right about you. Pretty cool. It is. You and Jacob replaced Sports Talk for me. Well, it's a great vehicle. It is. He's not fat. All I know is he's a winner. All I know is he's a winner. I mean, you're going to rip a guy because he's a fat ass, and he's got the second best win percentage in playoff history to Tom Brady, and you're ripping his gut, and you say he's not committed. Bro, help me out. What was Kansas City prior to Mahomes showing up? I must have missed that. Man, that's what you're ripping the guy for? Huh. Well, stay tuned, buddy. Everyone catches strays in this bitch. That's why they watch. That's why they watch. How you doing? Hey, dude, hey, that dude, that fat quarterback that played at Kentucky, right? The fat QB that played at Kentucky. I think he played in the NFL a little bit too. Seals, you asked if you were, you asked us if we feel like you disrespect Hurts. We were just telling you how it is. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Tough love? No. I think Jalen Hurts' journey has been great. It has. It's been unexpected, even by Philly. Even by Philly standards. He's surpassed it. He's overachieved. Jalen Hurts is an overachiever. Dak Prescott's an overachiever. Dak Prescott was a 4th-round pick. Tony Romo has overachieved in their careers. Tom Brady is the ultimate overachiever. Hurts is an overachiever. You're drafted in the 1st round. I'm sorry. You're not an overachiever. Now, if you go later, I'll tell you what, somebody I could add to that list. Lamar Jackson wins a Super Bowl, and he was the 32nd player taken, and he has 2 MVP awards. You might want to drop that guy's name on that list for the best draft picks since 2000. And again, I'm going to stand on this here, and I challenge you. Find me another player at the most important position in the last 25 years that was the last player taken that led a team to a Super Bowl and would be rewarded with one of the richest contracts in NFL history. It's not that it's the money. It's the winning too. I guarantee you San Francisco bounces back this year. Not because they're great, because they're not playing anybody great. They got the Rams in their division and really nobody else. Who's Sam Darnold in Seattle? Good luck. You couldn't find another player that was the 262nd player taken since 2000 that has done more than Brock Purdy at the most valued position in the NFL. Nobody. So, yes, it is one of the 5 best picks since 2000. Show me another one. And when you say Jordan Mailata, a left tackle versus a quarterback, I'm not asking you who the better player is. I'm asking you who the best pick was. Shit, I saw the Eagles win games with Fred Johnson playing left tackle. Fred Johnson stepped in and stuffed, as you guys say, Trey Hendrickson. I saw you win games with that guy. You ain't winning if you lose your QB. That's not happening. The guy made $800,000, took a team to a Super Bowl. Name me another quarterback with that salary that's done that. You couldn't find a player in 25 years of drafting that has done that at that position with the last player selected. And got himself a deal in the process. By the way, let me take a look at Purdy. Since most of you guys say he sucks, let's see how Brock is done. You guys are telling me Brock Purdy blows. All right. Let's see here. Brock Purdy. Let's take a look at his winning. Let's take a look at what old Brock has done. Let's see here. He's 23-13. Started 36 of 40 games. His 2 years playing as a starter. 42-80, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions, Pro Bowl, AP first team, fourth in MVP voting, took his team to the Super Bowl, led the NFL in passer rating, led the NFL in touchdown percentage, led the NFL in least amount of throws and completions, 70%. A year ago, 38-62, 20 touchdowns, 12 picks. He's at 9,500 passing yards. And he's averaging, as a quarterback, the last player taken in the draft, 4,100 yards and 27 touchdowns. And let me ask you this. Brock Purdy, the last player taken in the draft, is averaging 4,100 passing yards a year, 27 touchdowns, 11 picks. He's been to an NFC championship game and a Super Bowl in his 2 years starting. He took over, I believe, in 23. By the way, finished third in the Offensive Rookie of the Year voting and was AP's third team quarterback, even in those 14 starts. Or 5 starts for the last player taken in the draft. You think he's over or underachieved? Jimmy G was a second-round pick. Jimmy Garoppolo was a second-round pick. He was a second-round pick. So you think the last player taken in the draft has underachieved? Okay? Underachieved. What were you expecting him to do? Start? Do you understand? He's Tanner McKee. He's Tanner McKee. Well, Kurt Warner wasn't drafted. Next. Okay? The question once again, because you have shit in your ears. The best draft pick since 2000. Shit in your ears. Okay? Garoppolo was a second-round draft choice, like Jalen. This guy was the last player taken. Tanner McKee and Brock Purdy were looked at as the same. Was Tanner McKee a seventh-round draft choice? Do you guys see Tanner McKee getting $50 million and leading a team to the NFC title game? And being a Pro Bowler? Do you? Do you see that? Well, wait a minute. I mean, wait a minute. Tanner McKee and Jimmy Garoppolo are pretty much the same. Right? So you think Tanner McKee is Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay. Well, we'll see. Okay, I mean, right? Okay. Well, yeah. So what pick was Tanner? Let me see here. Hopefully he was close to being the last pick. Tanner McKee. Yeah, Tanner McKee. What pick was this guy? Oh, excuse me. He was a 6th rounder. Garoppolo was a 7th rounder. Ah, they thought more of Tanner McKee than Brock Purdy. Look at this shit. What round did he go? The 6th pick, 188. What was Purdy? 262, the 7th rounder in 2022. Damn. Even Tanner McKee was thought more of. Damn. Yeah. Oh, Tanner. Hey. Oh, Tanner. Steele's very selective with his comments. It's because when I make a comment and I'm throwing a topic out, you have to listen. You just can't start fucking parachuting things in like you want to throw in. When I asked you, in the last 25 years, what has been the best draft picks? Who in the world brought up undrafted free agents? How in the world would you even add that when that's not even part of the question? Well, Kurt Warner, and plus Kurt Warner wasn't in the last 25 years. Kurt Warner started his career in the 90s. The guy's the greatest of all time. And you're like, there's no context. Here, let me do it again. Mahomes. I put Mahomes. Here's my top 5 guys in the last 25 years of the draft. I got Mahomes because you waited 10 picks to get the guy, and you wanted to draft. Shannon Sharp wanted to have Mitchell Trubisky and Deshaun Watson to go to Kansas City and said that he'd be a better pick and Mahomes would never win. Well, he's got 3 Super Bowls, 3 MVPs. He's been to 3 Super Bowls in a row, and he's been to 5. And he's the most untradeable player in the draft. Excuse me, in the league now. He's the most untradeable player. You couldn't trade him because you would never get the value for him. Never would you ever get a draft pick for him. Okay? Never. I got Rodgers, first round, 24th pick. You waited all that long for one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Guy's got 503 quarterback touchdown passes, a Super Bowl MVP. He's a 4-time MVP. He's a slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer. It's just disgusting on how great his career is. It's the greatest touchdown to interception ratio in the history of quarterbacking. Let me show you something here with him. I mean, look at this with Aaron Rodgers, even with these last couple of years. Look at Rodgers' numbers. These are insane. I hope he goes out as comeback player of the year. Here, look at this. This guy's got 503 touchdowns and 116 interceptions. It's incredible. It's utterly incredible. I mean, 62,000 yards throwing. How many MVPs? 1, 2, 3, 4. Offensive Player of the Year 5 times. And that guy weighted 24 picks. And they took Alex Smith ahead of him with the first player taken. If the passing game is 30th again, A.J. Owens is going to explode like a BP oil spill. Deepwater Horizon. That's what, hey, Deepwater Owens. That's what we're going to call AJ. Deepwater AJ. Look out. If that thing is 30th again, I'll make this point to you, Kyle. We're going to have to start a GoFundMe page for a Library of the Month club. If that guy ends up being 30th again in passing, this guy's going to blow, like you said, a BP oil sprout. Holy cow. This guy will read the entire Philadelphia library if this guy has a shitty passing offense again. And they're down there, down at the bottom. And he's down at 47th in targets. This guy's going to shit a brick, man. I know last year he was injured, and, I'm sure that made an issue. This guy will blow a gasket if that team is 30th in passing. Yeah. Oh, my God. Can you see what book would AJ read? What book will AJ read this year? Let me guess. Cat in a Hat. If the passing offense is shitty again, and it could be, and he spent that money. Let's say it's shitty again. Let's see, have another shitty passing. The year before you had a high turnover rate. Last year you had nothing. Let's see. So 23 was a bad turnover year for the quarterback. And 2024 wasn't really significant. So, what book would he read? Where's Waldo? All right. Hey, what book would be something that I would subscribe for? Let's see. War and Peace, no. Death of a Salesman. That could be. Let's see. Animal House. Yeah, that could be something to think about. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Oh, my God. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Let's see here. How about, there you go. Booked. This is it. We're gonna send AJ Brown this book here. Booked. He can sit there like this on the sidelines. Here's AJ on the sidelines during the Eagle offense. Helmet. How many yards will Jalen throw for? $32.01, 20 touchdowns, and 10 picks. More yards he throws for, the less wins you'll have. The less yards you throw for, the more yards he'll have. Because that means Barkley would have had 1,800 yards. This is not bad. Where is that? This isn't bad. The 27's too low. Okay, that's not awful. I'd say like 2,900 to 3,700. I would say 29 to 37 because that's what he averages. If you look at Jalen Hurts' average, he averages in his 4 years starting 3,200 yards. That's what he's going to come in at. Because he runs the ball between 600 to 700 yards a year. The tush push is a factor in yards. He's not going to see this unless you guys are 9-7. If he throws for $4,000, you're 9-8. Barkley's going to go for north of 1,500 yards. Hurts is going to run more of the football in the RPOs this year. I would say Jalen's probably going to be up near 700 yards this year rushing. Bro, you're going to improve the offense with the efficiency of throwing the ball. I'm going to tell you how I look at it. He's probably going to throw for 3,200 yards. They're going to run more RPOs. He'll have like 150 to 200 yards more rushing. And what they're going to do is they're going to balance it off with the RPOs. He'll be more efficient, probably throw for a great percentage. He could lead the NFL in completion percentage. And it's going to be a tick up, like 3,200 yards, 750 rushing, another 12 running, and he'll have about 20 touchdowns. He'll have 32 touchdowns this year. What the fuck is wrong with that? What are you talking about? 750 puts him at 4,000 total yards. Another 14 touchdowns is 34 TDs for the season. And he has 700 yards rushing. And you get 500 from Dylan, and you get 1,500. You balance it off. And that's how you get, okay? That's how you get your offense to improve by not going nuts. That's right. I don't know why you think that's clowning. How is that clowning? 3,200 passing yards, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks, could be even 9. 750 rushing and 14 TDs rushing. What the hell is wrong with that? That's what he is. That's what he's done. That's his formula. That's the Eagles' formula. When you guys go like this, 4,300 and 34, that's not their formula. Hey, get this. Get this, Forrest. I think that's a mistake. Okay? Never 36 TDs, 4K yards, 18 rushing. That now he's clowning me. Here's what I'd say to you about Lamar. That 4,100 passing yards and 41 touchdowns and those 5 picks, okay, and the 800 rushing, Lamar Jackson needs to lower that number to 3,500 passing yards. You're too good, man. You are good. You've done it to me 4 or 5 times. Eventually, I got to duck, don't you think, Leon? Leon, I got to duck every now and then, don't you think? Hey, Leon, I got to duck every now and then, right? Come on now. Give me a break here, man. And he's hit me in the head too many times, Leon. So I've actually had to duck. Hey, Lamar can do 35 TDs, 10 rushing. But here, Forrest, I think Lamar Jackson needs to be about 3,500 passing. Is that what you're saying? No, 3,500 passing, 25 TDs, 1,000 yards rushing, and 14 TDs. And let Henry carry the mail. The more you put the ball in his hands late in the year and in the playoffs, the more you're going to lose. You got a running game. The Eagles are showing Baltimore how to win. Okay? They're showing you how to win that way. Baltimore doesn't want to see it. They don't That's right. Yeah. Do you agree? If Baltimore follows the Philly model, they win the Super Bowl this year. They'll win it. Or how about this? They'll be in the game. They'll be in it. Still, look at you see Lamar's numbers, 4,100 yards, 40 touchdowns, 5 picks, 800 yards. Guess what? That's not the formula. The Eagles have figured out the Rubik's Cube. Throwing for $4,000 for Hurts? No. Here's Jalen. This is what he is. And it's the winning formula. 32-01, 20 touchdowns, 10 picks, 750 rushing, 14 rushing, and you win. And you play D. Baltimore thinks you get into a playoff game, you've got to throw the ball 40-some times or 38 times to beat the Chiefs. They showed you how to wax the Chiefs. They showed you. Run it down their throat. That game in Kansas City, you know how I would hear that Kansas City game. Man, I would line up and I would tell Kansas City, I don't believe you're good enough to stop my guys. And I believe my 5 guys are better than your 4 guys. You're going to have to prove to me, what is that? February, March, April, May, June, July, August. 8 months. 8 months. I don't believe you've improved your run defense. And we brought everybody back on offense. Just about, but Becton. Okay? That's not terrible. What's 2,600 is a little low. AJ's going to bitch at that. But what will make him shut up is that he'll be in the NFC title game. Seals, do you think Josh Allen could have won a Super Bowl with previous rosters? Yes. Wait. No, because I think he's getting smarter. Okay, I think he's getting smarter. His problem is throw the ball less. He threw the ball less last year. He was the MVP. You don't need to throw the ball 48 times. All right. My great friends at Morgan & Morgan, folks, #1 injury law firm in America for a reason. It's because they win. Told you about the family in Pennsylvania that got $30 million in recovery after being initially offered $650,000. That's not going to ever cut it when it comes to Morgan & Morgan. If you're hurt in an Uber, if you're hurt anywhere, the #1 injury law firm is there for you. And folks, I promise you this. When they see Morgan & Morgan coming, they know this. They're going to lose. This is the #1 injury law firm in America for the last 25 years for a reason. It's because they win. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Story's making its rounds now that we had with Howard Eskin. Probably going to have to get Angelo on next week now. I'm still working on getting both of them. By the way, Battle Royale is back tomorrow because Cowboys, by the way, like I said too, what we're going to start doing, we're going to start getting Cowboys. We'll get, let's see, the Cowboys will do Irvin. Kansas City will do my boy Moss. The Rams will do Jackie Slater or Eric Dickerson. And then the Bucks will do Derek Brooks. I talked to Derek Brooks on the Tampa show a couple weeks ago, about a week ago. And I asked him if he'll come on the National Football Show. And he said, of course. So I was going to save him during the season, but we'll do Derek Brooks coming up too. And then we'll do Denver. What could I do for Denver? Probably do Terrell. Well, probably do maybe Carl Mecklenburg. We'll do something like that. Do Carl Mecklenburg. He's a friend of mine. He played on those old Orange Crush teams. So those are the first 5 weeks of the season. So we'll do that. I mean, so we're going to start rolling that out here soon. Guys, I appreciate you very much, man. I mean, like I said, tomorrow will be 13 days till the start of training camp. 3 days until the Chargers report. I can't believe we're here already. Joe Zander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. Guys, have a great one. Hit the like button, and we'll see you on the flip side.